Hey everyone, today is Thursday, the 31st of October 2019. This is the Gap, episode 491. I'm with Lawrie. Gilroy is here. And we got a big week this week going on. A lot of stuff.
Yeah, nobody cares. Nobody at home listening to this, because I've seen the numbers, exclusively an audio podcast. But Luke's got like all his fucking toys behind him now, and it's very distracting. It's very weird. It's like he's moved into his new place. And yeah, if you don't watch the YouTube, you can't see it, and you won't watch the YouTube. It's not worth it just to see all these fucking toys. But anyway, it's very odd.
It's better than your backdrop.
What do I got?
You got like half a green screen going on or something.
And a closet half open. Nice. You can't see all my board games. I'll leave the whiskey shelf so people can see.
Yeah. So yeah, I moved into my new apartment over the weekend.
Sweet.
Still sort of unboxing things. There's stuff all over the floor. A little bits and pieces, but for the most part, everything's sort of in shelves and whatnot. Yeah. It's good. I got my internet sorted out.
Got all your lanyards over there.
Yeah, I've got a lot of lanyards, man. Like
a lot of lanyards.
Yeah, that's what they do. I was going through because all my bits and pieces of things you get, and the dog tags are one that we used to get a lot of, but I haven't had a dog tag in a while. So I feel like the resurgence needs to come back.
Oh, now's the time. I think they're trying to get away from the military thing.
Yeah.
You know, for a while we were all in on the military thing, and then, you know, people started complaining about white phosphorus in video games, and
got too real. Things got too real. Now it's all about USB keys.
Oh, fucking don't get me fucking started on USB keys. I just went through a fucking dozen USB keys, a dozen of them, trying to find one that would actually plug into my PlayStation 4 because I had to get some screenshots off the PS4 for one of the games. We'll talk about it in a little bit.
Yep.
And it was like pulling teeth. They've all got this fucking lip around them, yeah. And the PlayStation has like just enough space for a fucking USB.
Yeah.
And it's just like fucking, oh my god. So I plug one in. Oh, no USB connected. I'm like, I'm sure there's like, it can't go any further. Eventually I found one, and I should basically frame this fucking thing, put it behind glass, and smash in case of needing to get fucking screenshots of a PlayStation, basically, because it's the only fucking one that worked, and it was painful as fuck. Anyway, yeah. So there's that. That's what I got.
Cool. I didn't mention this, but if my internet starts dropping out, let me know and we'll sort it out. Because I'm running on Wi-Fi at the moment.
Why?
I've got an internet line in this room, but my main one is in the living room.
Sure.
Because when he came and the guy came and did the installation, he's like, "Oh, the line in here, which is where I was going to get the internet set up." He's like, "It's really noisy. Is something wrong with it?" So we'll set it up out there. So I'm running
Just get a cable.
Yeah, well, see, my wife's not a... That's what I used to do in my old house. Is just run cable through the house.
Yeah.
But because this is just floorboards everywhere, it's a bit messy.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I need a contractor in to rip this cable out and put a new one in, and then I'll move the internet into this room, and I'll get my... like, it seems fine. I've been playing multiplayer games, and I haven't noticed any dropouts, so...
You're going to get a contractor in to rip cabling out.
Yeah.
Go down to fucking whatever your Coles is, Walgreens or whatever the fuck.
Sure.
Walmart, right? And get like fucking 20 fucking tiny little 3M hooks, plug a fucking Cat 5 cable in, and just loop it around the top, the fucking skirting at the top of your ceiling. Like, just fucking cable it all the way up the top. You can hang some fucking, buy 15 meters of fucking fairy lights and just like pretend like it's a fairy light setup. Like,
I'll see.
What the fuck are you fucking ripping fucking cables out and shit? It'll take fucking 30 seconds and save you at least $1,000. Like,
then I can't shut my door anymore because.
Oh my god!
I have to have an open door all the time.
Fucking wank with the door open? Like, why does it fucking matter? Also, you can't like just how fucking soundproof. What kind of fucking room are you in? Like, is it full sound? Oh yeah, you better fucking have the full
I'm actually
seal.
getting
Like,
padding. I'm gonna get padding. I'll pad all the
get
walls.
if you're so keen on spending $1,000, why don't you just fucking get one of those really flat Cat 5s?
Oh,
You know,
we'll see. I asked
we'll
the guy. He
see.
said it's
That
not
is,
expensive.
we'll see is no.
It's a
We'll
no.
see is let's change subjects, and I'm not doing that, Job. I really want to rip some fucking
If
cable
I'm
out.
running
I
cable
already
from
put a hole
here
in the wall. I
to my
already
living
fucking
room,
hammered a hole in the wall, and we can't go back now. I may as well continue forward. That's
I'm
what
losing
that.
like 50 megabytes if 50 megabits if I run cable through my house. I want that full gigabit
Oh, that's
connection.
why you can't get 1,000. That's why you can't get it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm at 950.
you're pathetic 950 megabit. Yeah. All right, it's all coming together now.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's working. Hopefully we don't get any dropouts.
I haven't noticed any, but I wouldn't notice any anyway, so I don't watch back. Or listen back. Anyway, so yeah, video games. Hey, I just got a new board game and I have no idea how it works. I just saw it online and I was like, oh shit, I should get it. It's called Die Hard, the Nakatomi Heist board game.
Okay.
By the OP Games, and it is double-sided game board unfolds. That can't be the synopsis. Suspense, excitement, and adventure on every level. Experience the classic action film Die Hard in this one versus many strategy game. Players John McClane or Hans Gruber's team of thieves. Like, fucking spoiler alert, what if you didn't know they were thieves? What if you still thought they were fucking terrorists? Anyway, and battle your way to the top of Nakatomi Plaza. It's amazing. It's a genius idea. I'm so excited.
I'm just looking at it on Board Game Geek. Doesn't have a lot of reviews yet. Seems to maybe a new game. It's a 2009 game, looks like.
A 2009 game?
2019. Sorry.
New? Yeah, okay. Well, fuck yeah, I'm on the fucking cutting edge. Now we're a board game podcast because we managed to get an early copy, I guess. I just bought it off Amazon. It did say there were only 3 copies left, but yeah, that was Amazon.com.au, so I figure,
Right.
It's not like Amazon US.
No, you order it and it shows up 10 minutes later.
Yeah, although it did show up. It was, I bought it on Monday and asked me to pay for expedited shipping so that it might show up before the end of this week.
Right.
And I'm like, fuck you. Free shipping, baby. I don't need it until next week. And then it showed up before the end of this week anyway. So, suck it.
Yeah. Nice.
Anyway, video games.
Yes, we got a lot here. What should we kick off with? Modern Warfare? Call of Duty Modern Warfare. I think I just left this on here. I played a little bit more over the last couple of days, so I can't remember. I don't think I had a PC code yet when we were talking last week. I don't even know what day it is. Today's Wednesday, Thursday, where you are. So yeah, I've been playing a little bit on PC. Yeah, again, really pretty game on PC. I played through a bunch of the campaign. Again, like some of the early missions that I really liked that I talked about last week, because I went to I did the review, the Australian exclusive review. Yeah, it's got a lot of extra, like the PC version specifically has some really nice customization, like the settings. They do that. Like little put like images on the settings of like what you're toggling on and off. There's only a couple of sort of publishers that do that. I think Ubisoft is one of the really good ones as well, that when they release a PC game they go all out with all the little toggles that you can put, like you can switch in the game. And so Call of Duty did that last year as well. I remember that doing a lot of stuff, but I really appreciate that they, it's just not like a port of their game. They actually go into a bit of, they put a bit of work into some of that stuff. And so you can go in there and toggle settings on and off. It shows how much like VRAM you'll be using on your GPU and, if it's going to cause any problems. So, yeah, a lot of good settings in terms of being able to like tweak that game and make it run as good as like you want it to look and run. So yeah, I played a bunch more on campaign. I really dig it. I like I really like the campaign, and I guess the good thing now is I've read a bunch of reviews that have come out. Everybody, for the most part, seems to agree that it's an excellent campaign. Even the lowest, I was reading US Gamer, and they gave it a 6 out of 10, and they still said it's one of the best Call of Duties in a long time. And I was like, okay, fair enough. But
in a long time, though, right? Like,
yeah, and I think the thing that you were mentioning, like taking the piss, the white phosphorus thing, that was one of the things they brought up. They were talking a lot about, the controversial issues that have risen over the last couple of days. I don't know if you saw this, but it's getting review bombed by a lot of Russian gamers.
Yeah, I did see this. I mean, it's tricky, right? It's a very tricky situation because I feel like I understand where they're coming from, but haven't we spent the last imagine if you're from fucking anywhere around the Mediterranean at this point, like anywhere in the Middle East, or west of on the African side of the Middle East, fuck.
Yeah.
Right? Like, good lord. You've spent an entire fucking 2 decades post 9/11 watching your people who look like you get fucking, like, vilified, like, non-stop. And, yeah, like, that doesn't make it okay under any circumstances. I think you just have to have a little, like, perspective. Like, I try to imagine how I would feel, right? Like, how would I feel if the problem with Australian culture is that we think it was fucking hilarious, right? Like, because we're so almost detrimentally apathetic,
right?
To the point where, like, yeah, they like The Simpsons can do an episode directly shitting on us, and we'll be like, "That's my favorite episode of The Simpsons. That's the fucking best one."
Give him the boot.
They can do it. Like, they can literally have a joke in there about how Australians somehow misinterpreted a passing fancy with Australianism and Paul Hogan as a lifelong friendship, and then we'll be like, classic us. We're such a bunch of dicks. Give us hell, Quimby. Like, yeah, Australians don't really have. I think we struggle in that department. Because we're like, yeah, so culturally apathetic about this shit. It is actually, like, genuinely, I think it's something of a problem. But nevertheless, I see where they're coming from, but at the same time, I do also understand that, that I think they made some effort to make sure that it's at least somewhat fictionalized.
Yes, I mean, like I said last week, they're changing. Like, there's fictional countries in there.
Yeah,
like, it still felt like they were. This is Russia, but like, they're changing names. They're putting fictional. There's still obviously Russian. There's ties to Russia in there with characters and whatnot, but they're trying to distance it.
The Modern Warfare and Black Ops both utilize the Cold War narrative. The sort of Tom Clancy military conspiracy as their foundational narrative aspect. Right. So it's hard to get away from that. Someone has to be the bad guy, and I guess there aren't enough IRA to go all in on the Clear and Present Danger. Is that one? The one in fucking where Harrison Ford's in the island? There's like you're limited, so you're gonna have to pick someone to be the bad guy. If it's not aliens, made up Eastern European nations is a decent fucking a decent run.
Wasn't Kevin Spacey a bad guy, or am I just assuming that he's a bad guy because that's
he's definitely a bad guy. In the game, I can't quite remember. I think he was. I think that was the twist. But like, it's definitely a question of perspective. Sure. What I don't think is okay is, I don't know if you saw this, but they try to reframe was it the Highway of Death?
Sure.
Did you see this one?
Yes.
I don't think that one's okay. There's no, like, it doesn't really matter they didn't make it that it wasn't some fictional country doing that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
That actually happened for reals, and it was wild, like heinous shit. Regardless, like a lot of people died. Like it's tragic, right? But it was perpetrated by the coalition of freedom, whatever the fuck
Mm-hmm.
they were called at the time. Not the Russian forces, right? So to reframe that as a Russian effort, or a fictional country Russian effort, that's some pretty gross shit, in my opinion, because there's no question that at the end of the day, that's how propaganda works. Propaganda works using the barest amount of, I guess, plausible deniability
Mm-hmm.
to get away with saying certain things that are specifically untrue, and that is definitely crossing into propaganda. That is not fiction, military conspiracy fiction. That is propaganda because it's taking something that happened in real life. And I understand that by and large, a lot of what Call of Duty has always done is loosely based on real life events that are slightly warped.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something that actually happened, and they've literally just switched sides on it, which is pretty bad, in my opinion. It's just bad. That one in particular bad. But I don't think there's any obligation for a Russian streamer or a Russian player to have to play Modern Warfare, and it is understandable that they will be upset, because nobody wants to feel like the bad guy when they're supposed to, unless they're specifically playing as the bad guy. Like, games are created to treat your enemies as faceless others for you to murder.
Yeah.
So ascribing a nationality to them that you identify with is obviously very tricky to reconcile with. I don't blame them for not wanting to play it. There's no obligation for them to play it, but it's sort of just how military shooters work. Someone's going to wind up being the bad guy. In my opinion, make it Australians. If anyone can fucking cop it, it's Australians.
Make it Hugh Jackman.
Make him the fucking king of the bad guys. I will write that story. It can be like serious as fuck, right? Like, he can play the Kevin Spacey role, but without being, a pederast. And because I think he'd be an amazing villain. I want to see Hugh Jackman as the villain.
As a bad guy.
So much more, right? Like, he's kind of the bad guy in Prisoners, right?
Not really.
Kinda. In the sense that there's no good guy in that movie. Right? Like, I guess Jake Gyllenhaal. But otherwise, right? The main people are kind of bad.
He just
wants
his kid back, right? And he's willing to do anything.
The whole point is they're supposed to make us look at the concept of the revenge thriller in a different light. Anyway, he's amazing in that film, is what I'm saying. Is what I'm getting at. And he's not the good guy.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. Hugh Jackman's the best. Hugh Jackman's the best.
He is. Anyway, yeah, so just going back to that, I guess that's the, for the most part, the campaign sort of reception has been pretty good, it seems like. Have you had any chance to check out any of it yet? I saw Nate playing some the other day, but I'm not sure. He's not.
I haven't played it. I haven't had time.
Yeah, it's been busy.
Because, and it's low on my priority list. I do want to play it for the campaign. You have really sold the campaign. And I've heard there's some wild shit going on in that fucking campaign. But it's I want to play Disco Elysium. I want to play the Outer Worlds. There's more coming out. Like, I'm going on a trip next week.
Jedi is out really soon.
Real soon. On my birthday, actually.
Yeah, nice.
Like it's just that time of year. So something that I don't desperately want to play above all else is gonna fall to the wayside.
So I played some multiplayer just to sort of get a feel of what's going on with matchmaking. And I think what they're doing is if the queue times are getting too long, then they're starting to do like the crossplay stuff. Because I think when we were talking to them back in the multiplayer reveal event, I was still trying to sort of figure out the best way to approach that sort of stuff. Like they were talking about having matchmaking in terms of like a like an MMR in there, as well as
skill-based matchmaking. That's what they have in the back.
Right, and so that's what I think they're doing here, because I had a lot of games where it like matched you in really quickly, and you look at the list and you're like, oh, all PC players, and then a couple where it was like taking its time, and then you jump in there and it's like there's some Xbox players and there's some PlayStation players and there's some PC mixed in there. So yeah, it seems to be maybe also sort of tying into the amount of time it's taking for those queues to pop, I think, or it could have just been that that's how it worked out. It matched me up.
You finally found out that you're about as good as console players.
Yeah.
They've worked it out.
So yeah, that was interesting to take a look at. Haven't played a ton of the multiplayer stuff. I've mainly, I think I'm at like level 10 or something like that. There was people that were like level 40, and this is the day after launch. Like they were definitely grinding. They had played a lot. So yeah, it seemed like it was clicking with a lot of people, I guess. But yeah, I basically just, there's the way the playlists work is it sort of gives you a selection of the modes you want, and then there's like a random sort of playlist as well, but you can go in there and check which ones you want to pick. So you can be like, I want to play Domination, or I want to play TDM, and you sort of mark those off and just press like quick play, and it'll sort of grab those ones you've ticked and then just find whatever's free, as opposed to maybe there's a game mode you don't want to play, so that's kind of handy to have. But also you can also be like, I just want to play Ground War 20 or TDM 20, which is a large scale team deathmatch, or you want to play Ground War, which is the big 64 player sort of like Conquest light battlefield mode. But there's also stuff in there where like you can't really get into the nitty gritty of specifics. Like I want to play Night Vision. I don't think that is really in there. But you can do like the realism modes, which I really like the realism modes. I'm all about like playing Battlefield in hardcore, and that's not something I played a lot of during 5, which I'm a bit disappointed in that. But I
think that's because the way 5 was constructed. I mean, it was already, I think it's the lowest time to kill of any Battlefield on launch. Like the lowest time to kill any Battlefield is launched at.
Yeah.
And they extended it slightly. I remember being fucking popping off when they extended it to, I think, one extra bullet. Took one extra bullet from SMG, and it drove me fucking bananas because the way you like fight in large scale games is like you want to acquire the next target as soon as possible, so you just fucking mentally time yourself. You're like, okay, it's 2.5 seconds, but now it's 3 seconds to kill. It's obviously exaggerated, but yeah, from 2.5. But you've already tried to acquire the next target, and they're not dead, right? So you stutter and fuck up. Obviously, instead of 2.5 and 3, you're talking about like tenths of a second, and the difference is, like just mind blowing.
And also, when you've got caliber guns with 8 bullets or something like that, or you've got rifles, that can be like, I can only kill 2 people, and then I've got to reload, which takes a bit of time. So yeah, like Call of Duty is a bit more. I'd say the time to kill is a little bit higher in some of those, depending on like distance as well, because it takes into account how far away, like damage drop off. But for the most part, it's pretty quick. But I like the realism stuff because it switches off a lot of the hard elements, and you can't really see like how many bullets you've got in your mag or the map and things like that. So that's a cool mode. But yeah, I'm only just been playing like TDM for the most part, and running around on a bunch of the maps. So there was some maps in there that like I didn't see a lot of rotation of when we were playing. So it was cool to kind of jump in and play a bit more of them. Like Piccadilly, I only played a couple of times, and the times that I did play it was like we're playing it on Cyber Attack, and so it was like a different mode, which is a team-based mode. So it was cool to kind of see some of that stuff, and just like the different maps and how they offer different types of, I guess, play styles as well. I think Piccadilly on TDM is getting to play that a bit more now. I think it's a bit broken. As there was one other map that I played during the review event where I was like, it seems to be broken in terms of like spawning, and I mentioned this last week. And so this is the other map that I've played now that I'm like, this seems a bit not right. Like the way it's spawning people in is
I remember.
You can do a bit of like spawn camping. But otherwise, yeah, I'm still having fun just running around, just murdering people. Yeah, it's Call of Duty. Like, seems like most people liking the multiplayer for the most part. People really like the campaign. Spec Ops is just, no one wants to play that. It's trash in its current state.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's getting fucking ripped up too, eh?
Yeah. So, yeah, it's just, it's like it's been too busy for me to really dive into. I've been trying to play other games, so yeah.
IGN's Modern Warfare review went out. I don't know if you saw it. And their multiplayer review followed it up. Followed later, and it got a 7.5 for multiplayer, 8.2 for single player.
Yep.
I directly recall a conversation about how my review for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare on IGN was the lowest they'd ever given a Call of Duty game. And it was a fucking big deal. That was 7.7. We debated over the score for so fucking long because of the way they treat their scoring system, because of the way their scoring system works. It was a huge conversation. I'm talking like an hour-long phone call, an international phone call. And yeah, the crux of it was that they that's not how they review Call of Duty games. Like, does my review, does my score reflect the Call of Duty as an island,
sure,
as a game outside of everything else, or does the score reflect the game's progress or lack of progress or regress compared to other games in the series? And so that's how we wound up at 7.7. But I feel like I broke a barrier. I feel like I've opened a path for other reviewers to come in and score a 7.5, not have to hopefully go through the same shit I did, because that was a fucking nightmare. 7.5, I don't know, for the multiplayer. I don't know. To me, it sounds like you would put the multiplayer at real close to the single player. Right?
No,
No.
no, because I thought the campaign was the best part of the game,
Yeah.
and I don't
But
think the
like, there was a
multiplayer.
lot.
There's a
Seemed
lot
like
of
there was
what?
a lot you liked about the multiplayer. No.
Um, yeah, I like bits of it. Like I don't think I don't think it's a better Call of Duty than Black Ops 4.
Multiplayer wise, yeah, I know you were saying that.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's I guess it's super tricky, right? Like I think that's why it took so long to frame it against every other Call of Duty game.
yeah.
You know,
And so the other thing
is the
is when I looked at
way to
the score for Oz Gamers, and then I looked at what they gave last year's Black Ops 4, and then what they gave, I think the year before that, was it Infinite Warfare, or was it the World
advanced.
War Two one? Oh, I can't remember.
World War Two. World War Two was before BO4. Yeah.
I think that was an 8, and they gave Black Ops a 9, and so I was like, all right, well, I was leaning more towards an 8.5, and I wasn't really sure. So I ended up going with an 8.5 because I thought that the campaign was excellent. I don't think the multiplayer is better than 4. Like,
If you had to do it in Joab's painted 4-star system, what would it be?
4 stars.
Yep, out of 4.
What's a 2 star? Is that a 5?
Yep.
Oh, well then I can't. No, it'd be 3 stars.
Yeah.
Can you go half stars?
No. None of that shit. It's
3.
4 fucking. It's must play.
Yeah.
If you like the genre. On sale, don't buy.
Yeah.
I desperately back when Game Arena still existed 5 years and 10 days ago. 11 days ago. 5 years and 11 days ago, when Game Arena still existed, I very much wanted to rip out the 10-point system, or it was more like a 100-point system because we had increments of 0.1.
Yeah.
Rip out the 100-point system and replace it with a 4-star system that would be fully justified in text, but it was way too much work for a site that was shutting down. Anyway, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like I like the multiplayer, but I played a lot of Black Ops 4, and I think the multiplayer in that was excellent, especially with the addition of like the zombies tied onto the blackout. Like that whole the whole game was multiplayer, right? And so I just enjoyed it a lot. And so it's like when you've got a piece of it in this game where it's like really bad, which is the Spec Ops mode, I'm like, there's definitely there's potential there, but because the spawn system is so bad, it just ruins that entire experience, right? Camping. I haven't seen much.
Still haven't seen
camping because I'm playing TDM, so nobody.
That's where all camping exists. That's where all camping is. Any camping in objective modes, unless it's off the objective, is positional play.
Sure.
But yeah.
But I think people are starting.
You go on the subreddit and people are losing their fucking minds about it.
Yeah, but I think that's a connection between this. This happens every year when Call of Duty comes out because people don't know the maps, and so it's a slower paced game to start off with. Once people start learning the maps a bit more, they start moving.
No, it's built for camping, man. It's built from the ground up to reward camping. They literally said it at the multiplayer reveal event we were at. They wanted to reward people for positional play. Positional play, in that sense, being camping, they wanted all play styles to work, including positional play, which they were using as a cute term for camping, when really positional play is successfully defending an objective. Right
for TDM though.
But in TDM there is no objective. The only objective is
it's kills,
camping,
kill streaks, or score streaks.
So positional play in TDM is camping.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
But that's
right?
always been in Call of Duty.
But no, like Black Ops 4 was real good for not featuring all that much camping because the pace of the game was such, and the map design was such that it didn't actually reward you all that much. Like it didn't have garbage fucking corners that allowed you to hide in them, and two big picture windows that allowed you to, take hard cover because we've implemented fucking bullet pano, but not behind those fucking windows or whatever. Like, and footsteps that are way too loud and shit. Like,
so that's what changes it, right? Is that now that the maps are bigger or vertical, and they've got these buildings you can go into with windows and whatnot that you can talk about, as opposed to which I guess there were hallways and like maze type sort of maps in Black Ops 4.
yeah,
Like you can definitely still camp, but now when you run out into an area, it's like, okay, I've got no, I'm no longer looking straight down. I'm looking down and I'm looking up to the right, and like there's all these different areas people can get you in. And I guess that's just the nature of that map design now. Like it's always going to be there as long as like you see it in Battlefield. We see it in Battlefield all the time, but I think the difference with Battlefield and Call of Duty is that they've got a revive system, right? And so when you're actually down, if somebody's camping in a corner, one person can go down and the second person can come in and finish, most likely finish them or shoot them or whatever, or the third person. And all of a sudden you start reviving your teammates. Whereas in Call of Duty, there's no revive system. And you're kind of playing as a one-man squad. And so when you're killed by a camper, the way that you get them back is where they are the next time you come into that room, right? So,
which they called out as something they specifically wanted to have. They said that was a personal objective that players could attain in TDM. Like, it's cooked. In my opinion, it's built to encourage camping at some level, at a high level. They want campers. And I don't think map knowledge is ever going to get rid of that. Like, map knowledge, knowing that, like, to actually look around a corner isn't going to change the fact that they can hear you coming from fucking 16 kilometers away, and they'll pre-fire you, right? Like, yeah, it's camped out the wazoo.
I don't know. We'll see. I haven't experienced. I haven't seen it be an issue so far.
You're the only one who's played the fucking live game, so I'm only going off my experiences in the beta, but still.
Yeah.
And literally what they said in their preview.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
I mean, there's smart things in that they're trying to do with, like, we've got to sort of to track that by personal UAVs where you can actually see them in the sky. So if they're moving around, you're gonna know that they're like not in a specific position. But if you see this thing sitting in the sky and it's going nowhere, then you've got a rough idea of where someone's gonna be. So there's stuff like sort of little tells in the perk system, not the perk system. Kill streaks, whatever it is. I think they'll figure it out. They'll get there. They'll, and if people don't like it, then they'll change it. They'll change it next year. I do think that kill streaks is weird. There is score streaks in the game.
Someone, I think Racy was saying on Discord that you get a perk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
That's fucking idiotic.
It's in there, but yeah, I thought I was getting points in some of the other modes for that, but maybe it just wasn't counting towards anything. So, yeah. Either way, it's strange. But it seems like it's done well. I saw some stats. It's like one of the biggest games for them this console generation, which sort of makes sense, right? Because we're at the end of the console cycle, so there's more units out there and that sort of thing. And I guess on top of that, like the positive reception of the game so far. So I'm looking forward to sort of how this game transitions going forward, and then also when my fucking Battle Royale mode comes out. That's all I want. I want my Battle Royale, and I'll be happy.
Yep.
Because I like my Call of Duty Battle Royale. I think it's excellent.
Yeah, although this won't be the same. But anyway,
moving on. It could be better. I mean, think about it. Like, they've got fucking tanks and helicopters and shit in there now, so it could be.
I don't see how tanks wouldn't make.
I mean, look at Battlefield. Look what happened with Battlefield. Like, I was all
a roaring success.
Yeah, I think they killed that on purpose.
I don't think they killed it on purpose. Let's not, let's not
PUBG
call it malice when it's probably just incompetence. But yeah, like, good lord.
Yeah, they killed an excellent game mode. Anyway, that was Call of Duty Modern Warfare out now. What else we got here? Rainbow Six Siege. You played a bit of this. The new mode.
I did. Yeah, there's a Halloween mode. This is Halloween done correctly, in my opinion. There's a Halloween. So last week we talked about Apex Legends Halloween event, Fight or Fright. This time, we're talking about the Halloween mode in Rainbow Six Siege. I love this mode. It's 5v5, and it's the five attackers all have hammers only, and they're made up of they choose from 3 different operators, so you can have multiples of one. You can have all the same operator if you want, but it wouldn't work out super well, I think. I don't know if the meta has gone in that direction, but I doubt it. So you can be Lion? Lion with a hammer. You could be Pulse with a hammer. Or you can be Blackbeard with a hammer. Blackbeard is Jackal. You can be Jackal with a hammer, sorry. Jackal's the footsteps guy. So you can be one of those 3, and then on the other side, you've got 5 defenders. You can only have 1 of each, but you've got Capcan, Frost, Legion rather. Fucking, what's she called? She puts the traps up and they stun you. Ella?
Echo?
No, not Ella. The other one. Not Echo. And the last one is something. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm nailing this. I just played as Legion, like, all the time anyway. So I play when I'm playing regular Rainbow Six, I only play as Legion. When I'm playing this, I only play as Legion. And so it's 5v5. The defenders can't attack. The operators only have hammers, and it's a game of hide and seek. And basically, that's all there is to it. If you're the defenders, you win by having someone alive at the end of the round. To your attackers, you kill everyone by hitting them. The defenders have the ability to go invisible for, I think it's 5 seconds, which is a ultra long time. And at the end of the 5 seconds, they also run a lot faster for another 5 seconds. So you can use that to get some separation if you get caught out. But you're not invincible, you're just invisible. And so the attackers can still hit you, which is hilarious.
Can you run through people?
No.
Okay.
So there's still collision, and they can still hit you. And so if you find the last person and just start swinging wildly and hit someone, and you get the win hitting an invisible person, it's always a good time. The attackers, it's basically up to them to find the defenders. If they don't take a pulse, it's very, very easy to win as a defender, because all you need to do is find some dark corner and hide. You only get, I think it's 4 invisibilities,
okay.
But all your other abilities tick up all the time. So Capcan actually gets more than his usual amount of traps, but he has to actually use them to have it ticking. Legion, it's the way Legion always works, right? Like, he's always getting more Legion traps. Everyone, that basically works for everyone, which is rad. But it just means you have the opportunity to sort of set up more traps than would be normal, so you can actually catch people out. Like, once they get their 3 traps, they're no longer on, like as on guard as like if they've hit all the Capcan traps, but you've actually put 4 or 5 down. You've taken the time. By the time that you've got the 4th down, I think like the attackers are definitely in the area. So it's definitely a dangerous time for you, but nevertheless, you can still do it and you can still get away with it. And it's a really cool way because it's the only way for you to kill. Like traps are the only way for attackers to kill. Defenders to kill the attackers. So yeah, it's a rad fucking idea and it's executed really well. And I think like 3 of the games I played had like Rainbow Six Pro League pros playing in them. Like actual pro players, they were all having the fucking time of their lives, and it was the least toxic I've seen Rainbow Six in a fucking while as well. Nobody was fucking being dickheads on chat. Everyone was just being fucking like rad. They were all like, everyone was sharing in the fucking spirit of the event. Everyone was like getting spooked out and like congratulating each other when like the other team won and all that kind of shit. It was fucking sweet. Like I really enjoyed it. I think something about the tension of the fucking mode and the fact that it's a little bit goofy, so you don't feel the competition so directly, meant that people were in a much better spirit than maybe they normally are. Because I do feel that Rainbow Six gets pretty fucking toxic pretty quickly sometimes. Like people are just shitty to one another. Yeah, so that was rad. It's set on Theme Park, which I thought is fucking genius because that's the next rework. And if I'm being honest, I've quit more games of Theme Park than any other map in Rainbow Six. I hate that map. I've got absolutely no time for it. There are too many run out opportunities that, like, on multiple levels. I've found, in my opinion. I don't know if they're going to fix that necessarily, but a spooky version of Theme Park is actually a really good way for me to get acquainted with the map. A really clever way for them to get people acquainted with the map prior to them making big changes to it. So that you can actually appreciate those changes. So yeah, I thought that was really fucking smart, and I think they did it really well. I also very much enjoyed, just when I couldn't find someone, when I didn't pick Pulse. I usually on attack, I'd go Lion, because you just sort of, it's mostly just to slow down the other team, because you can, like, instead of there being a drone phase, the attacking team sort of just locked behind this gate, and it gives the defenders, I think it's 15 seconds to set up a couple of traps early. So as soon as I spawned in, I'd pop the Lion, and it'd be up again by the time just after the gates opened. So we'd immediately know where they were, or they would stop moving. Hopefully they'd just let us know where they were. And then just as we were about to get into the fucking building, I'd pop it again, and we'd have some idea, or they would be forced to stop, which is, yeah, I felt like that was a good technique to make sure if they were going for, you always spawn in the same location. So on the other side, as a defender, I'd just go fucking Legion up the fucking front door, because people love to run through the front door, and you'd get some cheeky shit going. We had like a fucking Frost Trap, Capcan, Legion all in the one spot that wiped out like 4 attackers when they first walked through the door. At one point, it was fucking spectacular. And then I just kept like throwing more Legions at them because they're all down. So they're trying to crawl outside. And the last dude alive had to decide whether or not he was going to fucking like come at us and kill us, because we were all like clearly just there, or help his friends up. And so I'm throwing Legions at them to actually finish them off. And so he decided to chase after us instead. Yeah, it was fucking spectacular. As an attacker, if I couldn't find anyone, I just start hitting walls down, because everyone's got a hammer. So you just start sledging walls all over the place, just knocking every fucking wall down.
Does the hammer have durability?
No,
Okay.
you can do it forever. Yeah, and yeah, that's about it. It was a fucking brilliant mode. I don't know if it's still going. It's
I
probably
think it
not
runs out
necessarily.
by the time this is out.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But yeah, genius work, and yeah, really well executed. So should stand as a a good example to Apex on how to execute that fucking idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. What else we got here? Dota Underlords. Big update.
Huge patch.
Or the big
Huge patch. The bigger update, yeah. Killer work. Killer work. I'm still not sure where I land on the fucking implementation of the Underlords themselves. I know you don't like the UI.
I'm getting used to it. There's just
I find it
things
confusing,
about it.
but it's different. It's definitely different. I don't know that I don't like it, but it's definitely different. There are some things that I really like.
When I first got in there, I was like, this camera angle is something's gone. Like they've moved it higher.
Yeah.
And so what I did was you can actually use the scroll wheel, and you can I don't know if this was in the last game at all, or the last update, but you can go like right above it so it looks like an actual chess game, or you can go really low. And so I sort of went like 75% of the way down, like a little bit.
Nice.
And it looks like how it used to look. So I'm used to that now. And it's just like some of the UI elements I think could do a bit of tidying up. But for the most part, I think it's a good update. Yeah, so they've added a bunch of new heroes. They've added in a bunch of new alliances. They've put in a jail system, which is a really smart idea of like basically changing the meta every day, so that you can't have, here's the 6 characters you pick, and then you put you put this composition together, and that'll get you the win. Like, oh, you can't do that anymore because that character's now banned for the day. And so like it makes you change the meta every day. It's a really smart idea, because we were talking about how like they need new heroes and they need them urgently, because that will make the pool bigger, and the less chance of you getting the heroes that you want means that you've got less chance of building that composition that you want. But by having this jail system in there, it means you've actually got to try something different.
The reason they had to do the jail system is because they implemented fucking 80 new fucking heroes all at once, right? Like, I wanted like 4 new heroes.
Oh, I wanted 80. I wanted all of them.
Right? I wanted 4 new heroes to shake things up a bit, so that you would feel like, the odds of getting the one you wanted weren't necessarily the same. They dumped fucking 80, and they're like, okay, now the odds of you getting 2 fucking raises before round 18 are monumentally low, because there's fucking a full Dota roster in this fucking game. We've got to do something about that. So, and they implemented the jail system, which, works really well. I think every day is too soon. I think it should be every 3 days or something like that. In my opinion, there's not enough time to really get a feel for one construction, like one idea of, like, you might play a game, have fun with that particular construction, like the way that team is put together, and then it doesn't present itself next time, right? You don't have the opportunity in the next game, and maybe not the next game, but games of Underlords are long enough that I don't know that I like, unless I'm really going in for an Underlord session. I don't know if I'm going to play more than 3 fucking games a day.
Exactly.
Right? So if it doesn't show up, if IO, right? IO is such a fucking good example. Play some games with IO.
You got banned the next day.
Hilarious. Yeah, gone. Well, I was playing yesterday. We were playing duos. Me and Drew played some one game of duos in against bots, but nevertheless,
the IO just never came.
I'm presented like right off the bat. I get a fucking tiny and a razor, and I'm like, oh, IO's fucking primordial. Yeah, baby, this happened. We're going fucking primordials. See what happens. I get a morphling in the next fucking round. I'm like, oh, we've got to do this. We have to do this. And then Yeah, no IO. It got to like round 15. And I'm like, where the fuck is IO? What the fuck is going on? Where's my IO? And then I hover over it and it's like grayed out, but it's already a fucking white blob. Like it's already a white circle. It's impossible to tell it's fucking grayed out. They definitely need to communicate what's been jailed a little bit better.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also think maybe 3-day cycles is better than 1-day cycles. It's just not enough time for me to really fall in love with the character. And then yeah, we played the rest of this game. I think it lasted till about round 30.
Yeah. All right.
And
really
me and Drew were on 90 health, and we accidentally killed the last team because we were both like fucking chockers on economy, like well G'd up. You can swap heroes. You can send your teammate heroes. So I had fucking 2 level 3s by round 12.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because you can be like, what's your lineup? What have you got? Give me this.
Exactly.
And then you start buying
That's
stuff
what we're
together.
doing. We're like just fucking swapping shit.
Yeah.
And like literally stuff was like I was finding myself upgraded without my realizing it because it had just fucking like Drew had just sent it over without saying anything. Once he knew I wanted raises, he's like, and he just keeps getting fucking raises and he just keeps sending them over to me. And I'm like, all right.
What if your board's full? It doesn't.
You can't send. So at one towards the later rounds, when we were trying to make goofier 3 stars, that became a bit of a thing. Like we're like, oh, sell, like just sell one thing, and I got Drew to sell one thing, and I sent him 4 characters, and I was able to send them over, and they would level up so they'd immediately go off the board.
Oh yeah.
So I'd have space to put the next one. But you can send them gold as well. You send it 1 at a time, which isn't hyper convenient. We didn't really worry about that shit. I sent him gold once, I think.
Yeah.
Just to get him up over, I think it was the $20.
Yeah.
Threshold. And otherwise, he just fucking, we just fucking walloped. The AI clearly isn't prepared for duos. It was pretty funny. Anyway, so the last round, the other duo had, I think it was like 26 health left, and we're like, okay, we'll be fine. We just need to not do 26 damage to them. I think we did like 38 or something like that. We just fucking gone out of the fuck, and because I'm like, if they live through this round, I'm gonna spend all my money and try to find who's the dude who does the fucking time prison? Void.
Yeah.
Oh my god. That fucking game we were playing where I got Void and he literally fucking saved my balls. Spectacular. That was like, that's what I love about auto chess. That fucking clearly RNG, like the odds have gone in your favor, but it's resulted in something spectacular. In this case, Void puts out his little time cube that freezes everyone inside of it except for himself. Which, if it catches your own players, it catches your own players, but holy shit. And I only had like a 1-star Void. He was just literally the only ace I saw, and I just grabbed him. No synergy with the rest of my fucking team at all. He's like a primordial assassin or something.
Yeah. And
I had neither primordials nor assassins. But it didn't matter. He would like fucking jump in. He'd fucking void every cunt in their fucking backline. It's a massive area. It might be too big an area. I don't know. He is an ace, so I guess it's supposed to be powerful. But he'd freeze everyone, including, I think my 2 tanks got frozen. But all my fucking casters are just fucking dumping shit on these cunts, like non-stop, like fucking woo! And I won some games with him, won some rounds that I absolutely shouldn't have. Absolutely shouldn't have. As evidenced by, I think I died when the first person on my team to die was Void. Like, I think he got nuked and gonzo.
Yeah.
Oh no, that was after the round where, so they must have been like rejigging their fucking setup to make sure Void died. I think that's what they're doing. But IO will res the first person on your team to die, no matter what. And so Void died pretty much instantly. Managed to get his time thing off, but still died from someone outside. And then Io brought him back, and he went in and voided them again, and I won that round, and I shouldn't have won that one either. Spectacular shit, like hilarious shit. But yeah, like there's just so much fucking goofy play going on, right? So many goofy combinations that are totally divorced from synergy, right? Like obviously Io and Void are primordials, but other like I didn't get Void because of anything like that. He was literally just the only ace available, and I wanted to see what I could do with it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, see if I could make something happen with it. And yeah, I think I was going like fucking insects in that round.
Yeah.
And yeah, like it didn't like, but I grabbed an IO because why the fuck wouldn't you grab an IO? If IO's there, bring on IO, right? Like he brings back a player at full health once a game unless he gets fucking nuked out. It is insanity. As long as he lives long enough to start like to cast, it's crazy shit. And I can't even imagine if you were to get like a fucking what's the 50% off cooldown timer?
Oh yeah. The essence.
Yeah, like
is it an essence? I can't remember. Yeah.
I think so.
So to bring it down to 30 seconds.
Like, that would be heinous. I had one game where I had two star IOs on board.
Right.
And one of my IOs brought back someone and then died. And then the other IO brought back that IO, and the cooldown had been reset. It's like he doesn't have a global cooldown.
Yeah.
So the full cooldown had been reset.
Yeah.
So he was then able to. Oh my lord!
Chuck a refresher orb on him.
Like, imagine you were up against that team. I would be fucking spitting. I would be losing my fucking mind.
Just 8 IOs.
Right? Like you're like. What is it? Is this Arc Wardens again? Is this my fucking life? I just have to watch these cunts res each other for the rest of eternity. Yeah, fucking hilarious shit. But like, that's it, right? Like, that's what you're playing Underlords for. That's what you're playing auto chess games for. Is that goofy moment when something that probably shouldn't work actually works. Yeah. And I think they've successfully injected that into the game by way of the new heroes. It's what we were saying the whole time. I don't know if the Underlords necessarily do it. I did find out why I kept coming up against why I kept seeing fucking enemies live on 1 health. I had a game where three enemies lived on 1 health to defeat me. And I was I took it in stride, as you know, as I always do. I wasn't overly reactive. No, I lost my shit. I was losing my fucking mind. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? That, like, yeah, odds wise, that doesn't make sense. But yeah, it turns out, I believe this is what's happening. Hobgen lights people on fire. I believe Hobgen's fire can't kill
them. Right.
Yeah, so he burns them all the way down, and if you were to burn them further than 1 health, it just won't do any damage.
Right. Okay.
I believe that's what's happening. Because yeah, that's as far as I can tell. So yeah, that's why I keep fucking seeing it.
Yeah.
But it was.
And I think that's one of the things they need to work on, is that it's extremely confusing to figure out what is going on with those Underlords and how much damage they're doing and what their abilities. Like, it says it sets people on fire, and I'm like, okay, but how much damage is that? Like, what is that? Because what they've done now is they've removed, which is something I don't agree with. They removed the damage counters. When you would hit someone, it'd say how much damage they did. So it'd be like 48, or if you crit them, that it'd be like 80 something, depending on how armor works and whatnot. But like, I have no sense of that anymore. Like, I don't know when something crits, how much it's critting for, or say you've got savages, right?
hit to hit basis. I mean, you can still see the DPS meter on the side.
Yeah, but you gotta have that set up, right?
It sort of exists,
Yeah,
doesn't it?
I mean, you've got to have it clicked on DPS or as
yeah,
opposed to
of course,
damage.
of course. Yeah.
Whereas,
I just mean, on a hit-to-hit basis, I'm just clarifying.
Yeah.
On a hit-to-hit basis, you can't see what exactly each person is doing. Yeah.
And so Savages is another one where that stuff is useful. And what Savages does is every time you get a successful hit, they add an extra stack of damage. So it starts off and it's like 7 damage. But if you're a tier 2, it's about 15. So they add an extra 15 damage every time they hit someone. And so that information is useful when you're watching a game and trying to get an idea of like how those specific characters are dealing and like in relation to where they are on your board. And so by removing that information, you now no longer like, I don't understand what anyone is doing anymore. So I wish they would bring that back. And I think they're just trying to tone down the amount of information that is happening on the screen. Because now you've got these Underlords that are shooting like cannons at people and then like powering up guys on your team. And I'm just like,
and they've got like a mana bar that's segmented into 3, and so each one has fucking its own cooldown.
I don't know how any of that works.
What is going on?
I've played about 10 games and I don't understand it.
I still don't really get it. I do feel like I picked the wrong Underlord. The fucking chick one fucking heals cunts and summons a fucking golem.
Yeah.
She's like a healing ward / grave totem. Like, in one thing. Meanwhile, fucking Hobgen's over here lighting cunts on fire and doing not enough fucking damage.
Yeah.
Does he show up in the damage meter? Is he supposed to?
Yeah, he shows up in damage meter.
I have never seen him do anything worthwhile. I had one game yesterday where fucking, like, 3 of my heroes are doing fucking 10k plus damage each.
Yeah.
And I didn't even look below that. I didn't even see where he was. He was clearly not doing anything fucking worth anything. Like, good lord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they need to tighten up some of the way the game is displaying information and sort of what's going on. Because that hype bar, I just do not understand. Like, I get that there's 3 different abilities, but I don't understand how you get it to trigger an ability. Because sometimes it's like, I have enough hype, but he seems to be only casting one spell. I don't know why he's not casting another spell. And then other times, like, the entire bar is full, and now there's 2 little cooldowns. I just don't understand. And then it's like, he's setting people on fire, but how much damage is that doing? Like, I can't figure out how much. It doesn't tell me anywhere how much damage that is. Like, when you're setting someone on fire, what is that? Is that 300 damage over 5 seconds? Or, like, what is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I got no idea.
And so, like, and then there's these abilities and being able to, like, talent trees. And so it'll be like, oh, now the area effect on the fire is double. And you're like, okay, but what how much damage am I doing? Like, it just, if it gave me more information, then I would have a better idea of what talents to choose. Because at the moment, I'm kind of just picking what I think sounds cool. You know, oh, this one does 0.5 armor reduction every second. I'm like, that sounds like it's going to be a lot for a long fight. So I'll pick that one. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good changes, but at the same time, there's a lot of changes that have been put in that haven't been maybe thought out as well. Like, they've just chucked them in and been like, here's a new system, and they haven't really thought it through as much.
Yeah.
And I think that's what
we're saying. That's what we were saying last week, I think, is that they need to be able to experiment with this shit, right? Like,
yeah.
They need to have the room to experiment. So I think we're going to have to... This is going to be some teething.
Yeah.
Issues for a little while they work it out. But I believe they will get there. I'm so reinvigorated with this game. Just based on... Yeah, I wasn't initially terribly impressed by the fucking Underlords themselves. I didn't think they added that much. But yeah, the hero acquisitions are huge.
So we were talking about this. I don't like that the heroes have talents that are based on, I guess, your playtime or your wins. So you level them up, and I don't think I like that system.
I don't like that. Yeah, Drew just unlocked the second ultimate for the other chick, and I just unlocked the second ultimate for Hodgen.
Yeah.
And Yeah. Now, if I wanted to unlock, I'd have to play a bunch of games as her. Yeah, I don't really like that. I feel like I guess I understand it, and it's not that big a deal. But I don't like it because it does directly reward people who have played shit tons of the game.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, and then you've got to make sure that it's balanced, and
Yeah.
those abilities that are locked behind walls aren't the most powerful ones.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why I don't like it, is that it's like Dota specifically is a game that changes all the time because of nerfs and buffs and whatnot, and then Underlords is doing the exact same thing every week or two. They're rolling out patches that change the way either alliances work or damage is dealt, or spells spells and abilities are like the damage on that stuff, or cooldowns. And it's like I've seen the way they operate, and by them locking some of this stuff behind gameplay, timed gameplay or wins and whatnot, then that means, that stuff is going to change, and there's going to be an overpowerful thing in there somewhere that they'll eventually change, and it's locked behind how many games you've played or how much time you put into this character. So that's why I don't specifically like that system.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But otherwise, I think everything else is awesome. I think it's really good. It's a great update.
Really good update. Great stuff.
Cool. Yeah, I think
Afterparty.
That's probably about it. I can say. Yeah, Afterparty. So that's out now on consoles, PC. You can play it on Xbox Game Pass if you've got that for free. And I talked about this a couple of weeks back. It is a game from the creators of Oxenfree. It's sort of like a spiritual successor to that. It uses the same sort of gameplay elements. It's an adventure game where there's a very extensive dialogue system, and the dialogue changes depending on the type of alcoholic drinks that you drink in the game. And so the premise of it is that you and your best friend, so it's Lola and Milo, have died and gone to hell, and the only way that they can escape hell is by out drinking Satan, or out partying Satan. And so you sort of do this pub crawl sort of thing, and you go to different bars, you buy different drinks, and that changes your dialogue options within the game. And there's some sort of small gameplay elements in there. There's like beer pong and dance offs and that sort of thing. But for the most part, it plays very similar to Oxenfree, where it's an adventure game that you talk to characters and you progress through the story. I really like it. I think that like I said when I previewed it a couple weeks back, it's got some excellent writing. It's got some great voice acting and some really interesting characters in there. It didn't go in the direction that I thought it was going to in terms of the overall story. I thought it was going to go some maybe go a bit I don't know, like twisty on me, like throw some weird twists in there or whatever, but it doesn't really do that. It kind of just telling a story, and it just goes where you think it's going to go. It seems to have some sort of branching sort of paths that you can take in terms of the story that plays out. And I spoke about this during the preview, where you can it'll give you objectives to do, and you don't necessarily have to do them in that specific order. You can do one of them and it sort of cancels out the other. And so there's multiple ways that you could sort of progress an objective and complete it. So there's some replayability factor there. And so I actually went back and loaded up an old save and tried doing a few different things later on, just to sort of see how things will turn out. So there's a lot there to like. I think it's a good follow-up to Oxenfree. So I think if you played Oxenfree and you really liked it, then this will probably be a jam. It's very on the same level. The themes are different in terms of Oxenfree. Oxenfree is very like a supernatural thriller. This is more of a more on the comedic side, looking towards, I spoke about it a couple weeks back, things like Rick and Morty, The Simpsons, a lot of Edgar Wright stuff with what he's done. So different vibe, but very similar in terms of gameplay. Seems to be doing pretty well in terms of reviews and whatnot. It's not a huge time sink. Probably takes 6 hours, 6-7 hours maybe to finish through. Yeah, so it's a lot of fun. If you got Game Pass, you can fire it up on that and check it out if you want to play an old school sort of adventure game that's been sort of reimagined and brought to what games are these days. So no, I dug it. I really liked it. So check it out. Afterparty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
There's still a couple technical issues in there. It seems to slow down at some stages, like loading in certain elements, but for the most part, no big problems with it technically. Like the scope of it has very much grown from Oxenfree to this. There's still a very small studio. I think there's only a dozen people working on the game.
Yeah, right.
When I talked to the creative director or co-founder. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. Check it out.
Nice. And speaking of the Xbox Games Pass,
The Outer Worlds.
The Outer Worlds. Have you played much of it?
I have put some time into it. Have you played much of it?
I have it installed, and after this podcast, I'm gonna fucking play it.
Right.
No, I have been. Wait till you fucking see what I've been doing. Wait till you see what I've been doing. Okay, don't fucking start.
Right. So yeah, I've been playing Outer Worlds. So the Outer Worlds, people don't know, is a science fiction RPG from the creators of games like Fallout New Vegas, Knights of the Old Republic. Did they do Knights of the Old Republic? Which one of them did they do?
Yeah, 2.
Two?
Total
Yeah.
2.
They've got creators of the original Fallout on this team as well. So there's a lot of RPG
heritage.
Yeah, heritage just sort of has gone back over the decades on this game, and we previewed it a couple of times when we've talked about it. But for the most part, people have been sort of tying it to it's Fallout in space. Not only them, but like the developers themselves have talked about how Fallout has inspired them. Like it was in the marketing material. I did interviews with producers that have talked about how it's to them it's like this is their Fallout.
And I mean it in the sense like of what Fallout was for Black Isle. They want this to be for Obsidian.
Yeah.
Now that like this is a new phase in their life, right?
Yeah.
They've been bought by Xbox and whatnot. So yeah, it's a new step for a lot of these young creators, and I think it's right. I think it's a fucking killer thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the basic premise is you play a character who wakes up on a spaceship, and there's this wacky scientist that is talking to you about how like corporations have sort of taken over the space areas, the space planets, and you end up having to try and repair your ship, and you start off on this sort of remote planet that has a couple of different like community centers going on and whatnot, and you basically start exploring. You get given quests, and you sort of build out your, it's RPG games. You earn experience, and you put points into certain skills and perks. And I guess that the thing they're really going for here is the writing and the dialogue, like being able to like have tons and tons of different options that you can sort of talk your way out of. And like it's that thing where people say that to you, or developers like, oh, you can kind of play this game any way you want. You can play it as an action game, or a stealth game, or a pacifist, or a hacker, like that sort of vibe. And that's really what they're going for. So there are a bunch of different skills in your tree that you can put points into, and that also like each individual skill tree has like little options on it, little layers. It'll be like dialogue. You can put points into dialogue, but that also puts points into your intimidation and your how much you can lie and bargain and things like that. Or you can put points into melee weapons, and that'll be like like single hand and two hand melee weapons. Or there's range weapons, which puts points into pistols and long range and assault rifles. And so there's a bunch of different ways you can sort of customize your character. And then that sort of details like how you want to approach certain objectives and get things done. And it's basically like it is a Bethesda Fallout Skyrim experience. Like the look of it is very similar in terms of when you go and talk to somebody, it zooms into their face, like zooms in on their face, and you have that conversation. And there is a VAT system that's not really VATs, but you sort of slow down time, and every time you shoot somebody, it takes a little bit of chunk away from the from that skill. So you can shoot someone a couple of times and then you run out, and it recharges over time. And when you aim at somebody, it tells you their weaknesses and how much health they've got, and a bit of information about you. Like it's VATs, but it's not VATs. So it's very much like it is. This is the Fallout 76 for people that want to like it's the good one. I've played a bunch of it. It's excellent. It's really good. The writing, as I said during the previews, is awesome. There is so many options to sort of talk to characters, and the way you can finish objectives, like it's like staggering. Like you'll get an option in a dialogue that'll be like, you can lie to them or intimidate them or charm them, or you can just flat out just turn around and kill them if you're trying to do that sort of stuff. And so there's so many different ways you can sort of approach this game and complete those tasks. I might talk about some of them just in terms of like the first area that you get to. Yeah. The big one that you sort of trying to accomplish is this town called Edgewater. And they're this corporate town run that sort of has a bunch of workers in it, and they've been hit by this plague, and a bunch of other people have sort of left that town and then gone and started their own sort of little community elsewhere that have started growing like vegetables and other types of food. And the mayor of sort of Edgewater wants you to go turn on the power generator and crank it up a bit, but take away the power from that little community that sort of exiled themselves and divert the power back to their town. And so that's kind of like the overall story of this specific planet. And so you meet characters in the town, and you go meet the people that have sort of gone and started off their own little community, the deserters, I think they're called. And you start learning about what their deal is and why they left, and you get a bit of backstory about those characters. And so then this overall choice, this big choice you've got to make is, do I give the power back to this town, or do I give it to the deserters? And it sounds simple in terms of like, oh well, who do I pick? But they throw these sort of like they're not even black and white choices, they're like gray choices. Like both of them are like, you don't know which ones to choose, because they're saying things on this end, but also these other characters over here are saying things that make you sort of want to. So you're always like constantly flipping backwards and forwards between like who you think should do it, and there's no like clear, oh, this is who I should be going for. There's no right or wrong answer per se. Or maybe there is. It's just like that's just the way my game played out. And so like this Edgewater kind of wants these people to come back. It's not like they want to kill them and leave them out. Like this mayor wants these people to come back and start working for them again. But at the same time, those people don't want to come back because they don't like the way that mayor is running that town. And so there's awesome choices in there where you can like, the way that I played it out was I ended up diverting the power back to Edgewater, but convinced that town to come back. But she, like the leader of that town, wouldn't come back if that mayor was still like leading the people. And so then you can convince the mayor to like step down if you want to do. Like there's all these weird sort of intricate choices that you can take. I could have just killed the mayor. Like that was one of the options. Like go kill him. And I was like, oh, maybe I can do something else here. And so you can have this conversation with him and eventually convince him that maybe he should step down. Like they're growing their own food over here. And like, yeah, it's just like so cool the ways that this story can unfold. And then this one really small decision, or not small decision, but like this one decision that you can make can sort of branch out into all these different ways. And I felt like when I finished that area, I felt like I had solved it. Like that was to me, the perfect run of being able to do that. You know, I was so close to giving the power to the deserters, because I was like, yeah, fuck the corporations, man. Like, but you get a character that becomes your companion, and she's like, at one point she's talking about like, oh no, I think you should give the power back to Edgewater. Like, I've grown up there my entire life. They're really good people that live there. They're just, you know, they're hard workers, and you know, they're just working hard. They're just trying to live. And you're like, oh fuck, all right. So now all of a sudden you're like, okay, now I've got to try and, how do I fix this? And it just kind of leads you down this path of like, eventually, like really interesting choices that are not necessarily the good or bad choice. It's like they're both kind of a bit shit, but yeah. So that first area, just the way it kind of played out, I think it's fantastic. Like the writing and just the way that it lets you really, or it lets you like sort of think about what's going on in this world and sort of make the decisions that you want, and how that plays out overall in the story is really cool. So I'm digging this game so far. I haven't played a ton of it. I'm like level 7 and I finished that first area, and it seems like there's a bunch of different planets you can go to. So yeah, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Sweet.
I played it on hard and I switched it back to normal, because I was getting I was getting destroyed, because like everyone I've heard has been like, play it on hard, and I'm like, okay. And I don't know how the leveling system works. Like there's no icons above enemy players' head to say these are level 8. I think it kind of just scales. I was getting destroyed, like punted. So maybe I'll switch it up to hard later on when I maybe get some better gear or weapons or something like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because I've only got the one companion.
It doesn't seem like it's a game where the combat is what you're in it for, right?
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Because even after I switched it back to normal, I found that it was definitely easier, like a lot easier. But also I'm just like, the combat's not. It's like nothing special. It's definitely better than the combat that was in
serviceable.
Yeah. And so there's like pistols and RPGs and shotguns and hunting rifles. Like it's got a pretty decent combat system, but I'm playing it for the story stuff. Which they seem to do like an excellent job of that. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it so far. So
yeah, I
think it's definitely one people should check out if you're or disappointed by Fallout 76, or if you're a fan of those Bethesda games, because this is a studio that's worked on those games in the past, who have made excellent RPGs in the past, and there's a reason why they've been bought out by Microsoft. So yeah, I was just super surprised by how just how you can really approach different objectives, and that sort of there's no right or wrong, at least not in this particular case. Maybe there was, I just didn't see it, but it didn't seem like there was a right or wrong choice. They were both kind of very grey. So I'd be interested to sort of hear what other people have done or how they solved it. Maybe there are other ways to go about it that I didn't see, so that would be really cool to find out. And it's just not like that was sort of your main objective. There were different things in there, like somebody asked for, one of the residents in the town wanted to get some medicine to help cure them of something. But then you like leave that area and somebody else approaches you and she's like, oh, that medicine could be used to cure all these other people and blah, blah, blah. And then so you got to make a choice of like, all right, who do I give the medicine to? Or do I just steal the medicine and sell it for money? I'm playing as she is very high in terms of dialogue, so she talks a lot out of situations. But she's also not like a. I don't feel like she's a bad guy. She steals like every fucking chance she's got. Like if I go into a house and there's stuff lying around, I'm stealing it. Like it'll tell you like steal, and I'll like close doors and I steal everything. But I don't go around killing people for fun or anything like that. Like she's trying to get by.
Chaotic neutral.
Yeah. And the one time I lied was for the main sort of choice when I was talking to the mayor, and I felt like it was a good lie. Like it was a lie in terms of I had information that
maybe you're chaotic good.
Yeah, like I had information of how something was done. I just didn't tell him the intricacies about how that process was done. I just kind of told him, oh, they've got a way to do this. Like they know how to grow vegetables. And he's like, oh, how do they do it then? What's their process? And I know the process, but I'm like, it doesn't matter about that process. Like, that's how they do it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's not even a lie.
It came up as a lie. Because I had found out earlier on how they did that. Like, if I would have skipped that entire conversation, that probably wouldn't have come up as a choice.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, and there's stuff in there with, like, conversations you would have with characters, with things you're wearing, and, like, they'll mention it and stuff like that. So, yeah, it seems like a really good game that I think is going to get a lot of love during end of the year awards. And I'm definitely keen to see sort of how it plays out and where it takes you, because
sweet.
It's excellent so far, so I'm really digging it.
Nice.
Yeah. So I guess we'll find out next week when you play a bit more and what your sort of decisions are.
Yeah. I'm super fucking pumped. I can't wait.
It runs really good on PC. I'm playing on as I said, Xbox Game Pass.
Yep.
It seems to run no issues at all, no crashes, nothing like that. So yeah, seems like a good port.
Nice, cool. Well,
and here we are.
Just leaves one more game.
A new genre.
A new genre. One that's never been seen before. Let's have this. I wrote it down. A action game / strand game bracket social strand system close bracket genre. I've been playing Death Stranding. I've played Death Stranding for 60 hours. And I would say for about 58 and a half of them, I hated it. But to review the game, as part of the terms of the review, I was required to finish the game to the credits before I reviewed it. And I sort of kept playing. I wasn't sure I was going to be able to review it. You will be able to read my review on player2.net. I was going to chuck up thoughts on Red Bull, but because this game is so riddled with Monster Energy drink, I can't do that. So I went looking for somewhere to put it up. I was going to put it up on the gapodcast.com, but the last time, a few times I've tried to put the fucking podcast on the RSS feed, the site has fallen over. So I was worried about the sheer amount of traffic that my review is going to bring in.
That's a good thing, though.
No, like just 3 more people trying to fucking access that review. It was definitely going to fucking tank our goddamn website. So, it seemed like a dangerous play. So anyway, it's going up on Player 2. I'm very excited to have something go up there. I've never written for them before. It's 4,740 words of review. I go all the way in. There's a couple of tangents. It's basically a written version of a podcast. It's definitely constructed. I think it's very well constructed, obviously, because I'm the best reviewer on the planet. But Yeah, it's long. It's long. In it, I'm not gonna just rehash my fucking review here. There's actually way more that I can talk about that I didn't talk about in the review. But just one thing that I will address in it, I talk about how there's a degree of irony, right? There's a degree of irony for criticizing Kojima for being overly verbose amidst a review that is generally 5 times longer than every other fucking review that exists. There's definitely an irony in that, but I think at some level Kojima deserves as many words as I can give him. I've been contacted constantly. So many people who were like have the game and a part of the review. I guess process, and it is a process. But yeah, so many people who are part of the process have contacted me, wondering what I think. Specifically because I am a massive Kojima fan. And I am a massive Kojima fan. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. It's at top 3. It's in my top 3. It sits alongside Deus Ex and Grand Theft Auto Vice City for me as one of my favorite games of all time. Like one of, in my opinion, the best games of all time. I mean, I'm never going to rank the 3 necessarily because I think it changes every now and then. But nevertheless, Metal Gear Solid 3 like changed how I thought about video games. Right? It utterly altered my perspective on games, and I think it might, in some way, be why I care so much about critical analysis in video games to this day. So it's massively important, and I honestly think Metal Gear Solid 1, Metal Gear Solid 2, and 5, and obviously 3, and to a lesser extent, elements of 4 and elements of 5 were all utterly brilliant. I absolutely think there's a downward slope from 3 onwards, but there are parts of both 4 and 5 that have further shaped how I look at video games. Anyway, so people see a Kojima game and they literally think, "Oh, Joab's gonna fucking love this. Let's find out what Joab thinks of this train wreck." Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you want to get the perspective of the unabashed fucking Kojima lover? I am pretty outward about my fucking adoration for his work. So yeah, I get it, right? I get that. I get why you'd want to ask me what I think, but I don't like it at all. I don't like Death Stranding. It is a bad game on so many fucking levels. And yeah, I don't think he's lost it. I don't think Kojima's lost it. I think what has happened is his perspective has changed. I think there were... It's crazy to think this, but I think there were elements of Konami who were... You know, everyone thinks Konami was holding Kojima back. Everyone still blames Konami for the ending of Metal Gear Solid 5, even though that shit was scripted and acted months before the game was finished. But yeah, I think he needed to be held back. Someone needed to fucking rein him in, right? At some point, you do, like, you know, obviously I'm all about creativity, but yeah, there is a point where someone needs to step in and say, maybe we should stop. Maybe we should just hold off a little. This is one element too many, right? Like, maybe your review doesn't need to be 4,800 fucking words long. Maybe it could just be 1,000 words. Maybe you could condense it down into, you could cut 3,800 words and say all this succinctly instead.
Yeah.
You know,
And we don't need an
everyone needs-
interpretive dance of your review posted
Yeah.
alongside it. That
Right.
goes for 16 hours.
but I've already done the dance. So, but like, you know, Kojima's far from being the only person who needs an editor. Kojima and I are far from the only people who need a fucking editor, right? Like Quentin Tarantino, right? You've seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? That movie doesn't need to be 18 hours long, right? Like it doesn't need to continue on and on and on and on. I don't need that many gratuitous lingering shots of feet, right? I just don't need them, right? Like I could do without. There's so many times where a good editor could turn something that is very good into something that is great. And I'm not saying that Konami is necessarily the good editor. I do think scope creep is a problem that Death Stranding faces on a fucking minute-to-minute basis.
You want to see the Topher Grace cut of Death Stranding.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, that's what it is. Let's like to break down Death Stranding. It is pretty fucking difficult because it changes wildly at about the 7-hour mark. For the first, I think 7 hours, it is a game without any combat. That's not to say that there is no danger or there's no threat of combat. It's just you are not equipped to participate in combat for around that long, I'd say. And then you acquire the tools needed to participate in combat, and that changes. And then it turns into something different because suddenly you're able to fight back, and that changes the landscape of the game and the way the game actually plays out. And then it changes again because you become far too powerful, and like your options for combat are just fucking out of control. This is not like you going from fucking Harry Potter at grade 1 to Harry Potter like fucking graduating or whatever. That's not the power creep here. The power creep is literally bang, now you got fucking now you got people you can punch, and then bang, now you got guns, right? That's it, right? It's not some sort of fucking gradual increase of power. It is literally just there's nothing you can actually do there's something you can actually do to go ahead rainbow, I guess, right? Like it's just fucking wildly out of control. So the first fucking 7 hours of this game are pretty fucking fascinating. There's a lot going on, right? It's moment to moment. I've never said what the fuck more in any other game, and I guarantee you nobody will ever make a game that makes you say what the fuck more. It is seriously just bang. You've got to go meet your mum. She's the president. She's dying of cancer. You got to take her body to an incinerator. And you're like, hold up, fucking what? I'm still reeling over my mum is the president and she's got cancer. I'm still trying to process that, right? Like, and I'm going to, take her to a fucking incinerator? How does that work? And then you're like, the game's like, oh, it's so fucking easy. Here she is in a body bag. You're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, what? That's my mum? And I just gotta go fucking burn her? And they're like, yeah, that's it, right? Like, that's what happens. Your mum dies, and she's the president, and you gotta take her to a fucking incinerator. Why are you asking these questions? That's just what we do. That's how life goes.
And also hold this baby.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot. Right. Also, yeah, there's this baby in a jar. And you're like, what do I do with the baby in a jar? And it's like, well, it's your jar, baby. So obviously you look after it. But by the way, it's not a real baby. It's a tool. And don't get attached to it. and also don't let it cry too much because that'll make it useless as a tool. So balance those 4 fucking things while you carry your dead mum to an incinerator. And you're like, all right, that's a lot to unpack. There's a lot to unpack. And then like, by the way, the area with the incinerator has a lot of BTs in it. And you're like, what are BTs? Forgive me for asking, obviously, as the great and legendary porter that I am, because everyone always refers to you as like the legend porter, like the greatest of porters, even though you evidently knocked your head or something and don't remember shit, because like Norman Reedus's reaction to everything that happens is like my own personal reaction. It's like, what are you talking about? Right? So he's just got this permanently fucking confused look on his face. But anyway, you're the legendary porter. I obviously don't need to explain this to you, Sam Porter Bridges, but BTs stands for beached things, of course. They're monsters. Anyway, they're all over the fucking place at the incinerator. Just carry mum there, burn her up. You're like, what do you mean? What do you mean by monsters? And they're like, when it rains, everything ages a lot quicker, and the rain makes everything age a lot quicker. And also, monsters live in the rain. You're like, yeah. Okay, you've added another wrinkle to this line. I was almost at a flat fucking surface, but now that the rain's gonna make me old, like just anything it touches. Not necessarily you. You've got a fucking hoodie. The hoodie will keep you safe. The hoodie's not gonna get old. No, don't worry about the hoodie. We're not actually ever going to explain why the hoodie allows you to not get old. I personally have looked through every single bit of literature the game gives you, and it gives you so much fucking reading. There is so much fucking reading material in this game. I haven't unlocked it all, even. There are these fucking invisible memory cards you're supposed to basically find at random, and they give you extra details on a lot of what happens in this game. But I didn't find all the memory cards because there's fucking, I think, 36 of them. I found 4 because they're invisible, and you basically just have to be looking at the prompts to. It says press square to pick up memory card. You have to basically be looking there at that time, and most of the time you're not looking there because you're trying to not fall off a fucking mountain. Anyway, so I've read it all. I never found out why hoodies make you invulnerable to time rain. Nevertheless, moving back to the monster situation. Yeah, rain. It's time rain. It's where monsters live. Just don't run into them, and you're fine. The baby will actually keep you safe. But if you go too close to a monster, the baby will get upset. You got to really. It's a balancing act. But you're the legendary porter. You'll be fine. Just carry your mum to a fucking furnace. And you're like, okay, well, that's fine. What happens if the monster catches me, though? Oh, it's so easy. There's a sea of black, and a much larger monster comes out, and it'll eat you. But if it eats you, I wouldn't stress too much. It'll damage the cargo, but you can come back to life because you're immortal. And this is like the exposition in the first 40 minutes of the game. Like, all of this is just sort of thrown at you. It's just like, right, of course. All of this makes sense to me. That's fair enough. The bigger monsters that eat me, what do they look like? Oh, they're whales with squid faces. Tentacles. Obviously. You'll be fine. All of this is explained to you by either Die Hard Man, who I suppose really likes Die Hard, or Dead Man, because he really likes hanging out with dead people. And Die Hard Man, that you don't get that explained to you for a long time. But you do get Dead Man. Dead Man is explained to you, and Heart Man is explained to you. Heart Man has a heart condition and lives next to a lake that's shaped like a heart, and also his heart is shaped like a heart. And also, he is looking for his lost loved one. So he really hearts, right? So they call him Heart Man. And Dead Man, really likes hanging out with dead people. They don't really delve into that as much as I would like. If I was Sam Porter Bridges, I would have further questions, but at the same time, I would have further questions about literally everything I've been confronted with at that point. So, anyway, Dead Man, played by Guillermo del Toro, Academy Award winner and fish fucking enthusiast, Guillermo del Toro, but only briefly. He's only very briefly played by Guillermo del Toro. Most of the game, he's played by another actor doing a Guillermo del Toro impression. I believe Norman Reedus is the only person who is actually there for the entirety of the game, and even he isn't doing his own mocap. He is not Sam Porter Bridges' mocap actor. He's just the actor, the cutscene actor. Anyway, Nicholas Winding Refn, the director of Drive, he's Heartman, right? Except he isn't. He's only there for a moment, and then another actor plays him for most of it. So anyway, Dead Man hangs out with dead people, so they call him Dead Man. Die Hard Man loves Die Hard. That's why they call him Die Hard. Die Hard Man. And Die Hard Man tells you all the shit. He's just like, fucking, go burn your mum. And you're like, right here. I'm on it. Like, you got it done, right? I'll take this baby with me and I'll go burn my mum. You go fucking burn your mum, and maybe you trigger one of the monsters. Hopefully you don't. I didn't. I don't know how. The only way I could tell at this point where the monsters were was based on, you've got this fucking thing that sits on your shoulder, on your right shoulder, and it is such a staggering failure of fucking design that it sits on your shoulder, because the camera is off to over your right shoulder, and so your head doesn't get in the way of this thing, but anything you're carrying on your back gets in the way of this thing. So the first time you crawl in, fucking crouch walking through this fucking area, right, with your mum's fucking corpse on your back, this thing's fucking fanging out, right, just fucking popping off, like, it's like, fucking monsters, dickhead! There are monsters! And you're like, where the fuck are they? Because you look at it, right, you're like going forward, and you can hear it like spazzing out. It's like, okay, I get it, there's monsters, where are they? But you can't see it through your mum's fucking dead head in a body bag, right? The fucking body bag is sitting on your back, right, as like a fucking backpack, and the fucking blinking thing is here, and the camera is over here, is on your left, and the camera's over on your fucking right shoulder, and so you can't fucking see it. So you have to turn the camera to see where the fuck the thing is going, and it's like, beep, 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 over to your right, and you're like, okay, so there's probably a monster over to my right. Fair enough. Okay, I'll edge left a bit, and then you fucking crawl left a bit, and then it's like, it slows down a bit, and then you crouch walk another fucking 12 meters, and then it starts fucking popping off again. And you're like, but I can't see it. My mum's dead head is still in the fucking way. The big fat fucking head. And so you fucking have to stop and look where fucking it's looking again. You fucking keep doing that the entire fucking time you crouch. But I managed to do it, right? Most important thing is I managed to dodge these fucking monsters. I got all the way through, and I burned my mum's corpse, which is really all you can ask for at the end of the day. It's the dream. So that was that, and that's how the game goes for a while. You get some ladders because you don't want to go in the water. The streams don't make you age faster. Somehow, as soon as it makes contact with the ground, the time rain doesn't age things anymore. But you don't want to go through water too much anyway, because you lose your balance really quick. And balance is about 90% of the challenge in this game. So you've got to balance the moments where you're sort of going okay and the moments where you definitely fucked. And that's what's happened. That's what's up, is trying to make sure you don't go in the water so you don't lose your balance. So you get some ladders, and you put ladders over streams, and then you just walk over the fucking ladders. And for about the first 7 hours, it's taking ladders to streams, putting them down, walking over them, and then walking somewhere else, occasionally interspersed by frantic moments of being in pouring rain and listening to the thing beep at you with no idea as to where the fuck it is beeping, so that you can't work out exactly where you should or should not go. At some point, I realized that if I stopped and looked around, the monsters themselves are visible. I forgot to say this. I don't know if this is related at all. I have no idea if this is related at all. But before you start the game, it asks you to put in your birthday, and then it tells you certain horoscope signs are more powerful at detecting BTs. And I believe my horoscope sign, Scorpio, is not that powerful. So I don't know if this is somehow related or not, because it is absolutely one of the most fucking impenetrable fucking systems I've ever seen in a game. But worth noting. Absolutely worth noting. Maybe the only reason I could see these monsters later on is because, I don't know, it was closer to my birthday or something. Something changed. I've got no fucking idea. Anyway, at some point, when I'd stop moving, I would suddenly be able to vaguely see shapes of monsters, right? They sort of look, they're like outlines of people hovering in the air that are mostly see-through and grey. There's also the chance that I couldn't see them before because 90% of the game is grey. Because it wasn't my birthday.
Kojima's like, this is what we're going to do. Whenever it's your birthday, you can see the monsters.
Every other time, fuck you. It's my birthday present to the world. I'm Hideo Kojima, fucking master auteur. Yeah. So I had no idea. I had no fucking idea. But at some point, I became capable of seeing monsters, and it made the game so much fucking easier. Holy shit! It changed the way I looked at the game. Like, most of this game is my perspective. Like, you know how I always talk about how I love it when games, like, the growth of a game is you attaining more knowledge and, like, slowly becoming more equipped to deal with everything. Like, the best thing about DayZ is that feeling like your character never levels up or anything, but you as a player become more equipped. Mm-hmm. You as a player know, well, I'm not going to go into Electro because, you know, there's always someone murdering people at the school. It's too dangerous. Or I am going to go into Electro because there's high loot there and I might be able to get out alive. I have some idea of where the high murder zones are, and I think I can get some loot, right? That player leveling up as opposed to player character leveling up, I fucking love that shit. That's not what's happening in Death Stranding. I'm not leveling up, right? I'm not growing as a player. These are rapid, radical shifts in perspective that change everything I understand about the game in a fucking heartbeat that ultimately make it worse on a fucking moment-to-moment basis. The moment I could see the fucking BTs, it was like, it's glass shattering, right? It's glass shattering moments where you're like, the glass smashes and you're like, holy shit, what, is that it? These motherfucking BTs, these monsters, they don't move. They just sort of fucking hover in one place. So if you fucking crawl into a fucking BT area and the beeping starts, right, you just fucking hold still for a second and you can see them. And that's where they are. Oh, there. Okay, I'll just fucking walk on through, right? Just fucking don't walk into them. As long as you don't walk into them, you are Gucci. They will never fucking get you. And then there's another fucking glass shattering moment later on when it asks you to fucking make a safe house. You got to make a safe house, and to make a safe house, which is the only way you can like rest and poop. Pooping is a deal in this game. You make grenades out of your poop. You make grenades out of your pee as well, but the best grenades you make out of your poop. Anyway, and whenever you poop, there's a big fucking, like, you go into the pooping area, into the toilet, which also doubles as your shower, but I don't want to get into that. And this, like, modesty screen comes up, right? And it's an advertisement for Norman Reedus. Ride with Norman Reedus. a TV show Norman Reedus is on AMC. It is heinous. It is so immersion. Like, at first, you're like, what? That's so crazy. And they're like, hold on. That's not like, you see fucking 16 monster cans sitting on a fucking table, right? And it was a real goof, right? Because the fucking label is facing the fucking screen. You're like, that's some oh, yeah, I get it. Oh, it's funny, right? Like, integrated marketing, pretty clever. Like, you gotta get those dollars, I guess. And then, I guess what I'm going to do is make Norman Reedus chug all of these one after another, which is exactly what I did. I sat there and I fucking made him drink them all until they were all fucking gone. He does the exact same animation every time. It's this fucking... And he leans back and he kicks his feet and then he dunks it into the fucking bin. It's awful. But the AMC ride with... Like, that dude, he's in this game, right? Like, oh my god, it's so bad. It's so bad. Every time music starts, it comes up like a fucking film clip. It's got like whatever, fucking Give Up. One of the songs is called Give Up, and I'm like, don't fucking tempt me, cunt. One of the games is called Give Up. Songs is called Give Up, and it's like Give Up by Low Raw. Copyright 2011, Sony Music Entertainment. You're like, is this fucking MTV? What the fuck is going on here? Every song is by Low Raw, as far as I can tell. It's literally just Low Raw's self-titled album. I fucking looked it up. I'd never heard of them before, but now I've heard all of their songs. Anyway, it's just... I also looked up why the fuck they would use this music when fucking Kojima wants to be a fucking legitimate fucking cinematic fucking auteur. And it turns out that basically Sony Music and Sony Computer Entertainment made a fucking deal where they're selling their fucking music. Why wouldn't you get Hans Zimmer? Why wouldn't you get fucking John Williams or Max Richter or fucking Clint Mansell? Like some fucking cinema fucking soundtrack designer to make you some fucking epic scores, because every fucking time it's a song with fucking words, I'm like, why are there words? Why is anyone fucking talking here? What does fucking Norman Reedus have a fucking Walkman? I assume it'd be a fucking Sony Walkman, right? Just fucking branded and zoom right in on his fucking Sony brand or some shit, right? Like, no, it's not. It should be a fucking score, right? Like, how the fuck did you make this mistake? Because you're a fucking sellout. You're selling out as hard as you fucking can. That's what the game is. It's selling out as hard as fucking humanly possible over and over and over again. And the idea that this is somehow fucking cinematic genius rankles me to my core. Seeing George Miller fucking... Oh, Kojima's a fucking genius. Oh, that... Kojima makes me believe games can be art. Cunt, you had a fucking game development studio. What the fuck is wrong with you, George Miller? Yeah, like, what? A team Monday a fucking joke to you, prick? Holy shit. You fucking happy feet motherfucker. What the fuck do you know? So, anyway, glass shattering, right? I'm like, oh, I've got grenades now. I can throw them at I've got poo grenades. I can throw them at the fucking BTs and scare them off, right? I can use that to get through tricky parts. No, back to the safe house. I need fucking chiral crystals to finish making this fucking thing. And me being a huge fucking idiot, I used all my chiral crystals to hoverboard down a mountain. Because there's a hoverboard, right? It's not a hoverboard. It's a hover dolly, right? Like you attach it on a string and you can load a bunch of boxes onto it, so you don't have to carry them on your back, which means you don't have to worry about balance for a moment, right? But to keep everything on the hover dolly, it uses these chiral crystals as a fuel source. So the other thing you can do is once it's attached to you, you can stand on it and then just fucking ride it down hills. And I spent half an hour doing that because it was a lot of fun. It doesn't work very well. Like every vehicle in this game, it doesn't work as well as it should. But it is a lot of fun in a game where you're largely just walking from one location to another. So, anyway, I pissed away all my chiral crystals. And I'm like, Well, I fucking need more now, don't I? Good one, Joe. You fucking fucked that up. I reckon it probably had me at the right amount of chiral crystals in the game to make this safe house. And then I pissed them all away. So I had to find more. And I'm running around for a bit, finding 1 or 2 fucking crystals. I need 300 of these cunts. Like, this is going to take forever. I know what I'm going to do. And so anytime you kill a BT... Anytime you fucking kill a monster, it explodes fucking hundreds of these things, right? So I just went and I went down to where it was raining. I went down to where there were fucking monsters, and I walked into one. And I'm like, just fucking, yep, let's go, right? Like, choppity chop. I'm trying to get some fucking shit done here. Fucking monster grabs me. Giant monster comes out. I throw fucking 15 fucking grenades at the fucking thing. Dead. All the chiral crystals I need. And I'm like, oh, okay. Glass shuttle. That's the game now. The game is now me hunting down these fucking monsters and murdering them for resources that I need at some point. They are now cattle.
Well, throwing poo grenades at them.
Throwing fucking poo grenades at the fucking monsters. I've turned them into cattle. They are now, I farmed them. Right? Whenever I need fucking crystals, I'm like, well, guess I better go slaughter me a fucking cow. And, like, that's what I do. I go fucking kill some cows, and I load up on crystals, and I fucking get back on my hover dolly so I can roll it down a fucking hill.
Yeah.
And that's the glass shadow, right? Now, I'm some sort of fucking god in this world, right? Like, now I just and then a little bit later, you get a gun instead of just poo grenades. And you're like, well, I think I know what's going to happen here. And you go and you find the bad guys. There's dudes. There's humans out in the world, right? And they will attack you. If they see you have cargo, they can scan you. And if they recognize that you have cargo, they'll come and try and steal that cargo. And you can actually pretty reliably just fucking mess them up, right? They've got these big spears, these electric spears, and they'll try and fucking electric you. But for some reason, they are worse at it than any Assassin's Creed guard has ever been. So even if there's fucking 15 of the cunts, all with electric spears, they'll just stand there, and you just punch. You just like wait for them to swing, and then you step in and you punch them, and then you knock them out, and then you turn. And you do it to the next one. And they'll just fucking wait. They'll wait for you to finish one by one until you knock them all out, right? You can get unlimited resources doing this. So many fucking... If you want to build roads, you got to build roads and shit, right? You don't have to. It doesn't really do any good, but you got to do something, right? Got to do something. Might as well build a road. So only so many fucking poo grenades I could throw. So, if you're trying to build a road, you need a certain amount of metals, you need a certain amount of, like, ceramics or whatever, just construction materials. And the easiest way to get them is you go to a fucking mules camp, you beat up a bunch of cunts, and then you fucking steal what they had, right? Easy peasy. They've usually even got trucks that you can steal, so you can load up more of their shit that you're stealing from them while they lay unconscious. And then you get a fucking gun, right? And you're like, well, it's no longer going to be anywhere near as tedious. So you just get fucking multiple guns. Because you can't, for some reason, you don't get ammunition. It's sort of like a single-use society, a single-use gun. Once you've used all of the fucking ammo in this gun, it's done. If you go back to a safe house, you can reload. It will reload all your weapons. But you're never going to do that because every single time you go to a safe house, there's a cutscene for going into the safe house. There's a cutscene for him waking up in the safe house. There's a cutscene for him leaving the safe house. A cutscene for Mad Mikkelsen to do something while you're leaving the safe house. It happens every single time. And then there's a cutscene to show him finishing, exiting the safe house. So at some point, you're just like, I just don't want to. I just don't think I'll poop anymore. I'm just not going to poo for the rest of this fucking game. You can skip the cutscenes if you press start, right, X, and I am probably, if I've learned any particular combo in this game, it is start, right, X, right? I'm very good at that now. I'm like proficient, right? Like I could fucking skip through cutscenes with like lightning alacrity, but The problem is you don't want to skip those Mads Mikkelsen cutscenes because it's Mads, right? Like you don't want to miss any Mads moments, right? And there are other cutscenes that you desperately don't want to skip either. They hide some cheeky shit in them sometimes. Sometimes, like when you come back to life, because you're invincible, or at least immortal. When you come back to life and you do the swimming back down your own mouth and there's a baby giving you a thumbs up thing, right? They changed that up a bit a couple of times, and it's freaky as fuck. You don't want to miss that shit. But if you're just like, yeah, let's go, start right X, you'd miss it, right? So it's complicated, right? You don't want to watch 400,000 5-second long cutscenes of Norman Reedus doing literally the same thing over and over again, but then they go and throw a fucking curveball at you by changing 100 of them, and you never know which ones they're going to change. So fucking 94% of them are exactly the same every single time, and it's up to you to find out which ones are fucking different. So yeah, it's just a fucking hassle. You're not going to fucking willingly put yourself through fucking cutscenes that you don't need to do. So you skip the safe house and you just fucking, I just lit it. I just like, it's the post-apocalypse. I don't give a fuck, right? If my gun's out of ammo, I'll just fucking drop it on the ground. So I always go out with multiple versions of the same gun, right? And when they run out of ammo, I just fucking drop them. Like fucking John Wick or some shit. I'm just like fucking, well, new one. And it is pretty cool the way he gets it. It's like, they're still carried in like briefcase style. So we'll like fucking flick the briefcase off. No consideration for what happens to the briefcase waste, by the way. So I don't feel too bad about littering. Anyway, you get the gun and you're like, it's on now, because now I don't have to wait for each of the 15 dudes to come at me. I just fucking punt them, right? Like, done. If you use a lethal weapon, they die. You have to go dump them in a fucking incinerator. It's not worth the hassle. So instead, you could probably load a bunch up on a truck, take them to the incinerator.
Why do you
it seems a little macabre.
Dump them?
Hey?
Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to dump them?
Oh, because if anyone dies, they turn into a BT after like a certain period of time. So you gotta they turn into a monster. So you gotta dump them. So that that's why you were dumping your mum in the incinerator in the first place. Oh. So she wouldn't turn into a Anyway, so you can't shoot them with lethal ammo. You just use non-lethal. I don't know why lethal ammo exists at all, but it does. And you just use non-lethal. You just knock them all out. I had this bowler gun, bowler, like 2 balls on the end of a rope, and you shoot it out and it, like, ties around. It's like a Star Wars classic. I was doing that shit. I was just fucking bowling. I'd wait till they get in a river, and then I'd get them, right? Because if you bowler them, right, they're not knocked out right away. They, like, sort of struggle free after a certain amount of time. So you got to go up and, like, kick them in the fucking head, right? That's the game. That is literally a part of the game. They're still struggling, so go kick him in the fucking face.
Yep.
So they stop struggling, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm the good guy. Don't worry about this. So you fucking literally you bowler up 15 motherfuckers, and then you just run around in a circle kicking them in the face, and then you're free to fucking take whatever you want. But if you wait until they're in a river and then you bowler them, they get knocked out straight away. Technically, I imagine they drown, but game doesn't seem to think they die, so no worries, easy peasy. I'd stand on one side of a river, and then I'd just wait for them to come across, and then I'd get them every time they went into the river. Too easy. Suddenly you're farming humans for resources, farming everything for resources. And why are you farming these resources, Luke? I'll tell you why.
To build roads.
For no reason at all. To build roads that don't really fucking help. Roads are good, right? Roads are good in the sense that the vehicles in this game are the fucking worst things I've ever seen in my life. I do not understand the fucking world-building element that leads to 2 vehicles that have no place in a world that has no infrastructure, right? One of them is the fucking bike from fucking Akira, right? Just this, super low, sleek future bike. Runs on electricity, technically a trike because it's got 2 front wheels, even the fucking Dodge Tomahawk, right? And the other one is a fucking Nissan Cube on stilts. neither of these vehicles is constructed to go off-road at any point, and there are no fucking roads unless you build them, right? Who fucking put this shit together? Who was like, that's it, that's the car we're gonna build, right? A fucking box on some wheels, and the wheels are up high, because you gotta have, like, what does a car need in post-apocalypse? A high clearance. That's the only thing it needs. It doesn't need big wheels or the ability to climb or a lot of torque or anything like that. It just needs big wheels. Nailed it. We're good. Let's just fucking, those two bikes, they look cool. Let's end it. But they're electric, right? They're future because they're electric. You make a road because the only thing that these fucking things can drive on is flat ground, which exists in patches of about 30 meters. And is then interspersed by literally thousands of rocks, or roads. Roads, Gucci. So that's why you build a road, to save yourself a little bit of hassle. But building a road takes 45 minutes once you've gotten all the fucking resources. So you're mostly it's mostly a sanity play. You're not saving yourself any time. You're just sort of stopping yourself from going literally insane. The other reason you build a road is because you get likes. Everything in this game runs on likes. It is an endless series of likes. And when I say likes, I mean Facebook thumbs up. It is literally the Facebook thumbs up icon, right? It is a Facebook like. You get a Facebook like for doing stuff. People literally, you have conversations with people. You have conversations with fucking Hartman, Nicholas Winding Refn, and he will give you a thumbs up for getting something right. You'll be like, dinosaurs died 65 million years ago. And he'll be like, thumbs up, good work. That's true. And then a little fucking thing goes, 20 likes. And then you'll be like, the woolly mammoth died out 100 million years ago. And he'll be like, that's wrong. And then he'll take 20 likes away from you. And you're like, hold up, what the fuck? First of all, I didn't realize you could take likes away, right? That doesn't make any sense. What? I can't use likes for anything. I just accumulate them, and now I find out they can be taken away. Why wouldn't you just fucking rob people of their likes? Oh, because they're worthless, right? Never mind. Yeah, they're useless. You do everything for likes, and they're useless. But you build a road. I built the first road that I could, just because I wanted to see what building a road was like, and also because I wanted to do something to stop the pounding boredom that was constantly setting in every time I sat down with this game for more than 15 minutes. But sit down, make a road, and then when I completed my next fetch quest, the entire game is fetch quest. I did have a bit of an epiphany that it's more like Crazy Taxi than necessarily a fetch quest, but it's a bit out there. I may have gone a little bit too far down the hole on that one. I don't know. Anyway, it's just fetch quests. You just fetch one thing, take it somewhere else, and you get there. They tell you to say something else, somewhere else, and that's it. That's the whole game, right? But I built a road to break up the monotony, and by the time I made it to the next area with the package that I was supposed to deliver, I got, I don't know if this was a bug or what, but I got 48 levels of one thing, one element of the game. There's this bridge connection element. So you get rated in 5 areas. You get rated in delivery time, delivery quality, how damaged it is, miscellaneous, which is always great, and one other thing. I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look it up real quick.
So you're basically an Amazon delivery person.
Yeah. That's the entire game. On how much you delivered, right? You get more points for delivering more, because it is some sort of dystopic nightmare where you're attempting to not take any breaks in this Amazon warehouse that is this life. But the other one is bridge connection, which is your connection with the other world, and you get that by getting likes. The more likes you get, the higher your bridge connection is. And I built the first road, and then after I completed my next mission, I got 40 levels in it. To give you some perspective, if I look at it, right, it's capped out. It capped out the next time. I finished the game with a level 10 delivery time, because I have no idea how to increase that. Level 27 in delivery volume, even though I was literally constantly delivering the maximum amount I could to save on having to fucking do multiple trips. 53 in miscellaneous, which sort of makes sense, and 43 in cargo condition, which I am fucking appalled by, because I was pretty fucking good at only delivering shit in a pristine fashion. And 74 in bridge connection, and it got to 74 after 2 missions of making this fucking road. It just went and then the rest of the fucking way. And now
that's a good roads though. They love your roads.
Top-notch road. I have built the fucking greatest road. It's like when Kramer makes his own road in the middle of the highway. Fucking never made another level since. I did not make a single other level in bridge connection since then. I don't know if the road got destroyed. I don't know if that's just the cap. It seems like I'm like still making lots of likes in that particular section, but it's just not worth that much anymore. I don't know. It's fucking weird. Whatever it is, right? It's a fucking weird system, and I'm making likes basically for no reason, because the levels, right? Having delivery volume of 43 or whatever, 27, right? Delivery volume of 27 has translated into me being able to carry 10 more kilograms of junk. Okay, cool. Or so I can now, instead of carrying 120 kilograms of shit, I can now carry 130 kilograms, which is obviously going to revolutionize my life. No, I can just put on a fucking... You get an exoskeleton, and you can carry 300 kilograms. That's it. It doesn't matter anymore. Or you get on a bike, and you can carry however fucking much you want. You just fucking load yourself up, right? At one point, right, I needed to get a bunch of materials from one place to another, and I could either do 2 trips, right? Or I could get on a bike and just do it that way. And what I did was get on a bike. But once you're over your max weight limit, right? Once you pass 130 kilograms, right? You're not able to move much anymore. So you're sort of just like, and it takes forever, right? But you can, as far as I can tell, you can just sort of fucking saddle him up with infinite amount of shit, as long as you've got fucking like happy to fucking wait for him to step his way through everything. Anyway, and you got to worry about your balance. Of course, you always got to worry about your balance. But if you just fucking carry that shit like one at a time over next to the bike, or park the bike next to where you're going to be, then fucking load everything up on your bike and then hop on the bike. The picture I sent you is me with just over the maximum amount. And he just sort of fucking leans over the bike. Suddenly balance doesn't matter, weight limits don't matter, nothing fucking matters, because he's on a fucking bike. He's like, he's fucking doing fucking wheelies and shit, like doing whatever the fuck he wants. Bikes solve all your fucking problems. You just fucking, that's it. Too easy. Or yeah, you can chuck it in a truck. Yeah, it's just this fucking, what the fuck are you doing, right? Like, why am I doing anything for likes in the first place? There's no currency system. Multiple dudes who you deliver shit to, like, laugh at you because you do this for no reason. They're like, oh, and I don't even have to pay you anything. You're like, motherfucker. Like, what? Like, you're really gonna throw that in my face, you fucking coward bitch, hiding in a fucking hole while I'm running around fucking farming up fucking monsters? Like, how fucking dare you? Get the fuck out of here. Why don't you 3D print your fucking medicine for your daughter then next time, motherfucker? See what happens, right? You want to fucking die? No? Then shut the fuck up and never make fun of me again. Seriously, by the end of this game, I cannot go into details about the end of this game. There are, again, pretty hefty fucking restrictions on what I'm allowed to talk about regarding spoilers. I will not go into details, but I will tell you this. I had resolved, if I was given the choice, I was going to make sure that all of humanity died. I was 100% convinced all of humanity was going to die by the end of the day, the game, if it was my choice. If it was up to me, they were going to die. I was going to make sure of it. I didn't want them to live. I'd had enough of all of them. Every single fucking cunt on this fucking planet. I'm like, I don't care if Sam Bridges dies. I was slightly worried that my BB would die, but otherwise, I'm like, fuck it. Every other motherfucking can just fucking... They're dead to me. They're already dead to me. There's a fucking mission. Oh my god. There is a mission, right, where you carry... Oh, this one's bad. This one is so bad. There is a mission where you carry a fucking hourglass to this chick. This dude wants you to carry this hourglass to this chick, right? So that he can show her that he loves her, right? You get there. The dude's white. The chick is white. They exclusively speak flawless English. Everyone exclusively speaks flawless English. The chick is Japanese and speaks extremely broken English. Extremely broken English. I don't know how. She's surrounded by people. Like, that's not how language works. Anyway, you deliver this fucking hourglass. You can't drop it. If it ever gets dropped, mission failed. Like, it's a hard fail, right? It's not like there's a pizza mission where you're not allowed to tip it. That one's pretty bad. Yeah, you got to deliver a fucking pizza. But anyway, you can't drop the hourglass. By the way, the one dude's house and the chick's house, right? Between them, two monster zones, and because you can't fucking drop this package, I can't do my usual thing of just running into a monster and killing the fucking thing, because I might drop the fucking thing and hard fail. So I gotta sneak through. So it takes fucking 45 minutes to get from one motherfucker's house to the other. You get there, the chick's like, oh my god, I can't believe he would do this. Isn't he the sweetest? He's so sweet. You know what? Take me to him. I want to marry him. And so she hops in a fucking body bag. And you have to carry her back through the same area. And again, I can't just kill the fucking monster because she will get eaten and I will hard fail. So I have to sneak back 45 minutes back the other way. And then she gets there and happy reunion. And she's like, I don't need this anymore. I've got you. And she fucking smashes the hourglass that I fucking painstakingly carried 1.5 kilometers through monster-infested fucking mountains. But the real kicker, and mild spoiler alert, but the real kicker is, well, they get married, but an hour later you get an email from the guy, and he's like, I can't stand this bitch. I fucking hate her. I cannot believe she's living with me. And then you get an email from the chick, and she's like, I walked back to my mum's. I don't love him anymore. And you're like, oh, you fucking bitch. I will fucking kill every single person on this fucking planet. I hope they all fucking die. Because I had enough. I was done, right? Like, holy shit. I cannot believe. Oh.
This is it. This is the ultimate Kojima troll.
He fucking booms me. Yeah, he fucking boomed me. That was it. Yeah. Anyway, every single person on that planet can die. I hate them all. I will not go into details of how it ends, but yeah, I hope I wanted them all to die. By the time I was about 60% of the way through the game, I had actually resolved to make sure everyone died at the end. Because yeah, they throw it in your face. You're working for likes. You're working for nothing. Everything you do is meaningless. You're just some sort of fucking chump bitch carrying shit from one place to another for no reason at all, to find out more story, to get answers to questions you wouldn't have asked in the first place, because you wouldn't fucking care about anything or anyone in this entire fucking world or anything they do. They've all got terrible names. They're all fucking doing dumb shit for no reason. And yeah, like, Why? Why does it exist? Why does this game exist? It doesn't. It shouldn't exist. It shouldn't exist in the state that it is. There's nobody. Fetch Quest game design is literally the fucking bottom of the barrel, and it is functionally most of this game. Functionally, most of what Death Stranding is fetching something from one place and painstakingly carrying it to another, and feeling clever about yourself when you find ways to exploit the dumb fucking design decisions so that you can make your terrible burden slightly less onerous. That is the fucking game of Death Stranding. It is non-stop fucking garbage, except for the BB. The BB is the baby, right? Bridge baby. He sits in the jar and he tells you when monsters are nearby, but he also cries when it rains and when there's lightning, which is extremely adorable. And you got to pick him up and like rock him. You got to like rock the controller. Yeah. And also, the crying comes out of the speaker in the controller.
Oh, that's annoying.
No, it's fantastic because he doesn't cry that much as long as you're not useless. But most of the time, instead, what he does is whenever you do something fun, like there's these zip lines, and I made basically a railway of zip lines. I didn't get any likes for them. I don't know why. Clearly, I don't understand the like system, but there is one section. There's a very large section of my game of Death Stranding that is blanketed in zip lines, so you can zip from one place to another, to another, to another, and you can basically get everywhere without ever putting your feet on the ground. And BB fucking loves them. Or if you jump over a fucking stream, he fucking loves it, and he'll giggle, and it sounds like the giggling is coming from your chest area. That's the best. So there's that. Also, Mads Mikkelsen loves the BB, and Mads Mikkelsen is far and away the strongest part of this game. His acting is fucking top notch. A lot of the acting is pretty good. Norman Reedus strays wildly between, I guess, just general confused expressions, which I don't think convey that much emotion generally, and actual good acting. He's pretty good half the time. The president, she's good, like in the part before you burn her. Yeah, a lot of the acting is pretty good, but it's delivering utter nonsense. Mads Mikkelsen's portion is somewhat grounded in decent logic and is actually really satisfying to watch and experience. So yeah, I enjoyed that part. And BB is inextricably linked to Mads Mikkelsen, so I enjoyed those parts. The parts where they're together. My opinion, and I do pitch this in my review, but in my opinion, Death Stranding should have been a 7-hour-long game, devoid of any combat, that was literally just some way to link together the portions of the story that were Mads Mikkelsen related, and just yeet the rest of it into the fucking ocean, because it's fucked. It is so fucked for so long, and yeah, it is long. I did spend a lot of time dicking about doing stuff to try to alleviate some boredom. I do think you could get quite a lot of enjoyment out of it from that perspective, but the amount of work you would have to put in to get to those points, to get to the point where you are able to derive enjoyment out of it, is not. It's not under any circumstances worth it. It's not worth it for the story. It's not worth it for the gameplay. It's not worth it for really anything outside of it. Like the Decima engine, which is the same engine they use for Horizon Zero Dawn, gorgeous, utterly gorgeous. And Kojima Productions does amazing things from a landscaping perspective with it. It is, they make it into some, like, it feels like, what's that fucking, what's that planet that Mads Mikkelsen is farming on in
Rogue.
fucking
Rogue
yeah
One.
Rogue One.
Yeah,
it like, I feel like if it was Hideo Kojima's Mads Mikkelsen Rogue One exploration simulator, I'd be fucking in, right? That'd be fucking awesome. It looks like that planet. It looks fucking there's like a serenity to it, and there's like something very calming about wandering over it. And then the combat kicks in, and it changes the entire dynamic of how you experience the game. And then there's also fucking endless fucking pointless cutscenes, endless yapping. Oh my god, they explain everything over and over and over again. Endless tooltips telling you about shit. Just endless everything that I fucking loathe. So, yeah, don't play Death Stranding under any circumstances. I don't even think it's good from a. It's basically only good from a professional curiosity standpoint. Because at some point, I think every games critic needs to have a robust idea of what a bad game looks like. Yeah, but the general consumer will get nothing from it. It is awful.
Right.
Yeah, and I never found Conan either.
Did you find Jeff?
Your boy Sam. No, I don't think so. And I didn't find fucking. No, I can't say that. I think it's a spoiler.
All right.
I don't know if it's been revealed. No.
So there's no like social side to it, because I thought it was going to be like delivering all this stuff, and there was some like network like multiplayer aspect to it. Because I saw that like system, and I thought it was actually like you build things for other people, but that's not the case. It's like no multiplayer.
No, I believe that's what you're building things for. I believe the reason I got a bunch of likes for the cool road that I made was players using that road.
Oh, so it's persistent. It is multiplayer.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's actually a huge fucking issue. Because at some point, every single major hub is literally fucking blanketed in these pointless signs that offer like for like.
Yeah.
So if you run into them, you give them a like, and they'll give you a like. And they're like, at some point, like far enough into the game, once everyone has worked out that's a passive way to acquire likes, and they haven't yet realized that likes are utterly meaningless, like they dump them everywhere, and it's a absolute eyesore. Like you just there's this just fucking holographic signs everywhere. It'd be like, I don't know, imagine it in Dark Souls with chalk or something, where they're just fucking non-stop fucking chalk and shit.
Yeah, where there's no like limitation to it.
Right? Like, fuck that shit. Yeah, no, it's actually not that good. Because likes are meaningless, the concept of other players doing things for you is similarly meaningless. Because it's nice when they've built a bridge for you, but it doesn't change that much in the overall landscape of things. Bridges are, obviously better than driving through water, but there's only a couple of bridges that I could think of that I would actually have built myself, right? Otherwise, I'd just drive through the fucking water.
Sure, yeah.
I would generally, like, by the end of the game, I was running around with the maximum amount of building items on me so I could build my fucking network of zip lines. So I imagine I would have just arrived there a little bit earlier if I needed to build a bridge or a power generator at a opportune moment, right? Like being online added nothing to the experience, detracted quite a bit, or added very little to the experience. I won't say nothing. Added very little to the experience, detracted quite a bit because of the eyesore element of the holographic signs everywhere, and ties into a meaningless progression system. So, fuck it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sounds like it's going to be an interesting day when this drops tomorrow.
Reviews hit 6 p.m. tomorrow, so obviously this podcast can't go out until then, unfortunately. I think it's personally, I'm expecting the NBA dunk contest. I reckon it's going to be fucking bananas. I said this so among the people that I talked to, Grizz from formerly of Official PlayStation Magazine, and Mark Serrels, formerly of Kotaku, now CNET. They're both reviewing it based on what I'm getting from them. Unless Mark's done this to me before. Mark and I had a ripping good Facebook chat, like thousands of words shared about how much we hated the Breath of the Wild. And then at some point, Mark said, "Oh, I actually kind of like it now," and we stopped talking. And we started the conversation again for Mark to ask me whether or not he was crazy about hating Death Stranding. And I'm like, no, but you're not going to Breath of the Wild me again, are you? And he's like, ha 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 ha. I guess we'll see. So unless Mark's had another fucking change of heart, characteristic change of heart, I guess we will like wait and see. But I think what's going to happen is the NBA dunk contest as everyone climbs over themselves to find the best way to fully illustrate how bad the execution of this game is. I think it's going to be fucking awesome. But yeah, what I was saying to Grizz and Serrels was that I'm like, the thing I'm most excited about for Death Stranding is reading these reviews because I think it's going to be glorious.
Yeah.
I can't fucking wait.
I've heard about a couple of them. I feel like it's still going to land in between the 6s or 7s, the game. Just because of the nature of the review system these days. Like I
do. Yeah. Actually, I think you might be right. I think 6. I think it's going to stretch to 6. Yeah, I think you're right there. Which is disappointing, but I think for me, it's like it's the words that I'm interested in. I can't wait. I can't wait to see how people illustrate it. The scores will probably be disappointingly high, but I think the words will be entertaining as fuck to read, and it will feel worth the 60 hours I put into this game to get out the other side and share in that experience. I think.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be very polarizing. Like we're going to see some.
People are going to love it.
Yeah,
people are going to love it, and I am ready to rip them up. In a respectful way, obviously, not the way that I get ripped up. I got fucking messaged about Doom again the other day. Like, what the fuck? Why is that still happening? I think they might have like Googled why Doom Eternal wasn't out yet, and they're like, oh, that fucking prick. Anyway, yeah.
Well, they've woken up from like a coma. Just been like...
yeah. Anyway, in a respectful way, but I really look forward to seeing some positive reviews as well, because I do think that'll be fucking intriguing. I would love to see how they arrive at the conclusions that they would have to arrive at to think that it was a good game. I do not understand how. So I do think from my point of view, it'll be very perspective broadening. And I'm always keen to fucking broaden my perspective. I think, it'll be enlightening to see how you could possibly arrive at a 50-hour fetch quest game could possibly be considered good. I do think that we may have a curve. There might be a curve on what good entails.
Sure.
I think there will be definitely some people are going to consider my review harsh. I think after nearly 5,000 words, I've successfully justified my fucking opinion. But yeah, they're going to think it's harsh. So go in a bit.
We'll see. I've read the Survivor review, so...
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're going to think it's the harshest, but people are going to say it's harsh. I guarantee you.
Yeah.
I think I remain respectful in my criticism as well, so...
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway.
That's the games. I think we'll probably talk about that a bit more maybe next week if I get a chance to play it.
Fucking lunatic. You were a lunatic.
Yep.
You were a lunatic.
All right, should we do some news?
Let's do the news.
We got a bunch of EA news here. First one is a pretty big one. EA games are coming back to Steam, including the EA like their Game Pass subscription they're doing as well. You'll be able to use that. It's pretty big considering that we've seen a lot of publishers sort of move away from Steam altogether and launch their own platforms. This doesn't mean that Origin is going away anywhere. You're still going to have to use Origin to I guess run a bunch of these games.
Yeah.
But you'll be able to buy stuff on Steam, a new storefront. And they're kicking things off with the new Star Wars game, which comes out in about 2 weeks.
Yes.
Jedi Fallen Order.
It's I think they must have gotten a better deal out of Steam. I do know that Steam has been working on improving their percentages.
Yeah.
But that those percentages generally skew well in favor of giant mega corporations like EA. So maybe they just feel that the benefits, the cost, like the benefit of advertising a game via the Steam marketplace outweighs the reduced amounts that they would get because of Steam's cut.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, fine. I was hoping that they were going to move wholesale back to Steam, to be honest. Origin pisses me off. I don't understand. The updater on Origin is still aggravating as fuck.
I don't know what it does half the time.
I think it's such a low bandwidth program that it is generally ignorable. And when it does update shit for me in the background, I love Origin. I think it does its job well. Mm-hmm. But for fucking Battlefield 5, Pacific Theater hits fucking DeSavo and or tonight rather, and I was tearing my hair out trying to get the fucking update to install because I wound up having to delete fucking 60 gigabytes, make 60 gigabytes of space because it said that it needed 35. And then when it went to, it only downloaded 17 gigabytes of shit. Like, What the fuck happened? What happened to 60 gigabytes, damn it? Like,
it does this like thing where it checks the file and then that takes so long. It takes like 45 minutes.
But it only seems to do that. It only seems to do that whenever it fucks up the download.
Oh no, mine
but it's the it only does it when it fucks up a download for me. But it's what fucked up the download for me. It's not like I did anything wrong. God damn it.
Yeah.
So why are you punishing me with this fucking extended bullshit? Anyway, yeah, it's very aggravating. Like I said, when it works, it's probably one of the fucking lighter bandwidth fucking programs out there. They've done a really good job of reducing its memory footprint. But when it doesn't, holy shit, it's fucking. I want to headbutt a wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pricing seems to be okay. I was looking at it, and it's sort of my pricing's actually still in line with Australia for some reason. I haven't changed my country, and I'm thinking of not doing it just to test out, like when my game unlocks. That's if I don't get a review copy. Because then it'd be like, well, is it worth going back to
New Zealand?
Should I change it? Should I change my country to the US, or should I just leave it on Australia if I'm going to get it a day early? Or can I just use my VPN that I've got? Because I don't think VPNs work to unlock anymore, do they? I can't remember. I've never tried it, so. Anyway, I guess we'll find out more about what's going on in the upcoming future. They also announced that Apex Legends has hit 70 million players, which is a massive jump from the last announcement. So that's since March, I think the game's been out. So that's a lot of people playing Apex Legends. They also talked about how they're canceling NBA Live 20. I didn't even know this was coming out, so that's a.
I didn't realize it either.
That's the thing.
So I'm pretty gutted.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on that NBA Live 20. It's really giving me some perspective on just how bad WWE 2K20 is.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been that they were like bringing it out, and they were like, "No, let's not. Let's
Yeah.
not."
Oh, look at this. This game's worse than WWE 2K20. Maybe we should can it.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened. Yeah.
And the other big piece of news they talked about is that they're working on a new Battlefield game, but it won't be coming out until the 2021 fiscal year. So that's a ways off. Fiscal.
Yeah, that's fucking yonks away. But that's good news for Battlefield 5, right? Like, I think it means they're supporting it, right? A lot.
Hopefully.
I mean, the Pacific Theater kicks in today, which is awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I think we'll be good. It'll be all good.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Our next one here is Telstra, a big telco provider in Australia, has partnered up with Xbox, and they'll be releasing a program called the Xbox All Access Australia, which is a subscription plan for consoles.
Yes. So it's a post-paid subscription plan for Xbox only. You get an Xbox One S or an Xbox One X.
Mm-hmm.
You get Xbox Live Gold plus an Xbox Live Ultimate Pass.
Yeah.
For what is it, 27 a month or 37 a month, respectively. The Xbox One S is 27 a month. The Xbox One X 37 a month or 34 a month. It's only available as an add-on to another package, so you have to have another postpaid plan,
like a
already.
Phone or something like that.
Yeah. And yeah, from a fiscal perspective, it doesn't add up. You can absolutely get cheaper in an upfront payment. Also, if you, it's a 24-month subscription or plan.
2 years. Yeah.
2 years. If you want to quit, you have to pay out the entire fucking thing. And there is a new Xbox coming out in a year, and there are no current plans for an upgrade path that doesn't involve buying out your current plan.
Right.
So yeah,
there was there is a possibility of upgrading that I saw.
I was at the briefing. I heard them. We asked the question directly in the Q&A, and they said they didn't have any plans at this point. So maybe someone extrapolated something. I don't know, or maybe someone got more details. But yeah. From what I heard at the press conference, there's no path. Which, yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's not. I mean, if you wanted to dabble in games, I guess maybe, but otherwise, it just doesn't make sense. It's too expensive. So Xbox One S.
If you're doing the thing that you said, which is going out and looking for deals, it definitely is more like it's more expensive. But if you put them up next to each other, because Stevivor did a breakdown of the costs associated, and if you buy all the stuff individually, you end up saving yourself with the One S, you end up saving about 120 Australian across the entire purchase.
Right.
If you do it on the Xbox One X, it's about just over $100 saving. That's using like RRP for specific bundles that he had at that time of posting. But there's obviously I saw some new bundles.
Oh, now we use RRP. I see how it is. Like, when it's JB Hi-Fi, he wants to be all like, "This game costs $60 but no, now he's like, "What's the RRP?" Well, isn't that fucking rich?
Yeah, because he's linked to the Xbox site. I'm just going off of what he's linked to. Yeah, so I mean, there's definitely savings.
You save $120 without, like, oh my lord! You think the fucking Xbox One S isn't going to get significantly cheaper 6 months out from the fucking Project Scorpio launch?
Yeah.
Like, there's no fucking way.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, this is supposed to be for people that can't afford that giant $600-$700 payment out flat, and so they're breaking it down to $25-$30 payments across a span of time.
Doesn't JB Hi-Fi have Easy Pay or whatever the fuck?
I don't know.
Doesn't every fucking online retailer have some sort of fucking payment plan system at this point?
Maybe.
Yeah.
But your general consumer is also not going to know that they can get the ultimate gamer pass for $1 if they go and buy 2 years worth of Xbox Live Gold and then buy the pass on the $1 thing that they got going on at the moment. Like, that's like, it took me to do that. I had to go and read an article on CNET that explained to me what I needed to do to get to that point, right?
Sure.
And this isn't for us. This isn't for the people that are a bit more savvy. This is just for your person that just like, I just want some sort of easy plan that I can do. I think it's a good stepping stone. Like, it's probably stuff that needs to change.
Because on last week's podcast, you literally predicted this would happen. That's the only reason you like it. Just fucking admit it.
Yeah.
You literally predicted that this is what someone would do, and then they announced it half a week later. Not even half a week. They revealed it under embargo fucking 2 days later. That's the only reason that you're fucking stoked about this shit. Don't try and fucking make excuses about how it's a good idea. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
I'm just salty because it's Telstra.
Yeah.
It's Telstra, and they invited me to go to literally the room where they told me they were shutting down Game Arena to have a fucking briefing about how they were finally getting into gaming 5 years and 5 days after they turned off and deleted all of my work on Game Arena. So I'm just salty. I'm salty. The GA in this fucking podcast title used to stand for something, and Telstra deleted it forever. So yeah, I'm a salt monster. That's basically it.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with it.
All right, next up is Ghost Recon Breakpoint. The developers have outlined plans for the next few months. Basically, they've acknowledged there's been a bunch of issues. We saw the earnings call recently where they talked about how the reception wasn't as well as they'd hoped, and that they acknowledged that, there was definitely problems, and they're trying to just sort them out. And this is a sort of like a breakdown over the next couple of months of what they want to try and work on for this game. Typical Ubisoft fashion, where they're committed to trying to make these games better that they put out. We've seen it in the past with a lot of their titles, so I think it's a good step. They're talking about fixing some of the technical aspects of the game, which I don't know, man. I didn't see too many like weird bugs or anything like that when I was playing, so
No.
I guess we'll see what happens there. But they're committed to fixing a bunch of that. They talk about adding post-launch content with raids and the new Terminator event, which is going live soon, which I'll definitely check that out. They've addressed things with the in-game currency, and they're looking to try and sort of sort that aspect out. They gave an update on how they're working with the AI teammates, which is a feature which was requested when the game was first announced back at E3. Obviously, Borderlands had AI partners, and this one they didn't. They wanted to focus more on, I guess, the co-op, like bringing your friends in and playing with them. So they're still working on that part. And then they address some of the things with like the realism aspect of the game and how people are really being drawn to that side of it, but they feel like that it's not affecting their game as much as they'd hoped. And so they're trying to figure out a way as to how to like make that stand out more for people that want that experience. So for me, for example, when I played that game, I turned off all the markers on the screen that sort of told you like you need to go to this direction, and I really like that aspect of the game. So they're trying to lean more into that side of it for people that want it, that like make it more immersive, and then also try and ramp that up a bit, because they had the injury system that was in there, but that really didn't do a whole lot. And I think they're trying to incorporate that a bit more. So it's good that they're taking feedback from the community and they're going to try and sort that out. And they've also talked about how they want to try to address the, I guess, the loot system with the guns and whatnot. So it's going to take some time before we see some of these changes come through, but at least they've acknowledged it and they're committed to try and work through that sort of stuff. And like
it's not going to fix what's fundamentally wrong with it, in my opinion.
Which is what the loot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will mean
that is all we can.
They're going to try and look at that. So I've got faith that they'll definitely make it a better game, just from their track record of the way they've handled a lot of their games in the past. So yeah, we'll see what this game looks like. I guess the start of next year, or whenever season 2 starts, which looks like is going to be sometime around the end of January, February, around then.
Right.
All right. Next up is, this is a juicy one. I read this just before we started recording. Patrice Desilets, the creator of Ancestors, who back in the day worked on a lot of Ubisoft titles, in particular, creator of Assassin's Creed. Ancestors, you and I did not like this game much at all. He did a interview with VG 24/7, and he talked about how
it was on a panel. I think it was on a panel at a thing.
Sorry, yeah, this is a VG 24/7 reboot, develop, Red.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I know.
And basically talked about how some reviewers actually didn't play the game. So this is in relation to the 64 rating on Metacritic. And basically this quote is really good. And it says, "It's part of our industry. They have to review a game and they have 15 of them to review in 1 week. And sometimes they don't have the time."
Yeah.
This is because you're reviewing 60-hour games that have you carrying boxes around the place.
It's true. Yeah, first of all, no, this whole thing is so it's so gross. He says, "We know for a fact," I'm trying to smile when I say that, "some reviewers actually didn't play the game." So I guess they know this because of the, they gave us press codes, right?
So they can see playtime.
So they can see playtime and stuff, which I think is fine. What I don't like, what I think is particularly gross, is that he is trying to couch it in, he's trying to couch these comments in an understanding tone, right? Like a sympathetic tone. He's saying, "Oh, it's part of the industry. Sometimes they have 15 games to review in 1 week, and they just don't have the time." He's trying to position himself as a good guy, but what he's saying is utterly despicable. Release some stats. Name and shame whoever it is who didn't play the fucking game. Do not say this shit and tar every game reviewer with the same fucking brush, you disgusting fuck. Because that is some horse shit. Yeah. That is some utter garbage. So all it's going to do is encourage the sort of bullshit game reviewers run into over and over again, where we're attacked online over fucking misconceptions like this.
Yeah. So I've just taken a look at the playtime I put into it. I put 8 hours into the game.
Yeah.
Which is, I feel like, enough for what I needed.
I think
for us to talk about it on this show.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was like, I felt like playing more of that game, I wasn't going to get any more out of it. Like, I was not enjoying what it was doing at that point anyway.
Right? Yeah. Like, and we'd seen what the game had to offer. Like, we dug into enough of the game to get what it had to offer. But look at the comments on this article on VG 24/7. Doesn't surprise me. Not long ago, we was reading about reviewer want pay to give good review or they thrash it. Prove that. Like, where did you see that? Reviewers not playing the game? No, impossible. It's never happened. right? Like, oh, okay. Well, thanks for that, fucking Patrice. You fucking dickhole. Now, like, yeah, reviewers just don't play games. That's so fucking shit. You're a fucking turd. I'm so upset about this. I really liked Patrice Desilets. I didn't like his last game, obviously, but shit. Like, what a cunty thing to do. To say. Fuck him.
Yeah,
anyway.
To say that, his game actually wasn't bad. It's just that people didn't play it.
People didn't play it,
long
yeah.
enough.
It's horseshit. It's such a bullshit deflection. And he can go fuck himself forever. Anyway. Yeah. Juicy. Yeah, anyway. Moving on.
Yep, next up is... Well, that was it. That was the last
Questions.
one. Yeah. Are there any questions?
When did we record last week?
Same day we record every week.
24th. Okay.
24th.
Okay, Pinky. So we've got two questions. First is from Frisco. Am I still boycotting Am I still boycotting Blizzard if I have to reinstall BattleNet to play Modern Warfare on PC? This is a good question. You do have to reinstall BattleNet to play Modern Warfare on PC, and BattleNet is Blizzard's platform. Although I guess it's just Activision Blizzard King's platform at this point. Are Activision and Blizzard inextricably linked? Should you be boycotting Activision for all the things they've done, like no dedicated servers for Modern Warfare 2? I think you should be. Never give up when you do your boycotts. Once you start boycotting, you got to boycott forever.
Yeah.
Going all in. Yeah, I actually don't think you are. I'm afraid, Frisco. I think you are not boycotting Blizzard if you install BattleNet to play Modern Warfare. Thoughts, Luke? Where do you land on this? Also, he wrote Modern Warfare as one word, which I didn't address while I was reading it, but
that's pretty good.
It's definitely one spelling of the game.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You do whatever you want to do to boycott them. Some people treat them as separate entities.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I'm not. They haven't done anything that I'm like, I'm going to boycott all their stuff now. Like I'm just like, it's not a big.
Yeah, okay. Fucking Captain BlizzCon. You don't have to fucking justify.
Going to BlizzCon tomorrow.
He's going to BlizzCon. Is Luke? That's the question. Frisco, is Luke still boycotting Blizzard if he's going to BlizzCon tomorrow? To report on it. Not to protest. Nice. Fridge Monster Man writes, "Hi, Luke and Joab. In the last console generation, after the massive success of the Wii, Sony and Microsoft hang on. No, that's my bad. In the last console generation, after the massive success of the Wii, Sony and Microsoft scrambled to get their own motion controls out the door. PlayStation Move is now part of the PlayStation VR, and the Kinect has been relegated to the hobbyist scene after Microsoft realized bundling it with the Xbox One wasn't going to make it a success. Do you think the experience Sony and Microsoft had with chasing Nintendo last time round has made them hold back on copying the Switch this generation? Sony, I'm fucking popping off. I'm popping off, Fridge Monster Man. I can't believe you'd say this. Sony is particularly surprising to me, as the bare minimum they'd need to do is dig up the Vita. Oh, you're there already. And jam some new components into its corpse and shock it back to life. I cannot believe you would say that Sony would be copying the Switch when the Switch is a fucking copy of the fucking PlayStation Vita, but you do acknowledge that to some extent. Nevertheless, I cannot believe Nintendo came out with a fucking clone of the Vita and somehow marketed it as their own big fucking idea, because it's driving me fucking bananas. It's driving everyone fucking loving the fuck. Where are all the fans of the Nintendo Switch Lite when the Vita was out there doing its fucking best? You know, doing whatever. What the fuck, Luke? What is your fucking ground made of? Luke's going for a fucking walk or something. I think he's going to get his PlayStation Vita. He's still got his Vita. Well, I don't know if you guys heard that over the fucking mic, but it sounds like he's got bubble wrap for a fucking carpeting or something. It sounds fucking heinous.
What about the PSP?
Oh, the PSP. Oh, that's the P. I can't see on the tiny fucking image here. The fucking old school. I've got my PSP around here somewhere too, I'm sure. But I don't want to go fuck. I've got two of them. I've got two Vitas, three Vitas, I think. Two PSPs, and a PSP Go and 2 PlayStation Vitas.
It's my bubble wrap.
Vita for life. No, I do think that after failing to successfully mimic Nintendo, that they are a bit gun shy about just copying Nintendo again. But at the same time, I also think that they've got better consoles this time around by a significant margin. So I don't think they felt the impetus to try to catch up as much.
Yeah.
Luke, what do you reckon? Were they gun shy in the copying?
I liked what they did with the PlayStation Move. That was a good peripheral.
Yeah.
I love those games. Bocce, game of the year.
Oh, Bocce was good. Bocce was good. But it didn't really have the sell-through of the Wii, right?
No. I think that's because of Nintendo, right?
Well, that and the PlayStation 3 was significantly more expensive than the old Wii, right? So, yeah, adding on an extra $100 to the PlayStation Move controllers wasn't a particularly attractive purchasing decision.
Right. I don't even know where my controls are.
Unbelievable.
They're in a box here somewhere.
Fan,
no, because Dreams is coming out at some stage, right? And that'll use them for, you can sculpt fucking faces and things like that.
I think it's out in early access already.
Oh yeah, you can play it. Like, people have done ridiculous things with that game.
It's pretty rad. Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I think this generation, like we've said before, it's gonna be a massive leap. We're going to see some interesting controllers, but nothing on the scale of what, I think it's going to be a hardware console generation and not a peripheral generation. They've understood. Like last time, Microsoft was all about the TVs, and they quickly stepped back on that one. Sony's just generally been pretty good in terms of, like, we're going to put out a beastie console and we'll see what happens. Like, they had the games to back it. Whereas I feel like the Xbox this generation just hasn't really brought it until, recently they've really stepped up their game with, Sea of Thieves and the Outer Worlds and Game Pass just in general. But next gen is going to be excellent, I feel like. I think it's going to be a really good generation of consoles.
Yeah, I think it's going to be real interesting. I'm very excited to see what they bring out because it's going to force a new, like a really wild leap in what we games do with the new technology. So I think it'll be really cool. Cool. Well, that's it.
That's it. All right, should we wrap
Good questions?
Yeah, that's really bright all of a sudden. This white page. You can find The Gap on iTunes, Android, Windows Store, Spotify, all those places. Pocket Casts. I use Pocket Casts for my my phone. You can find us on there as well. If you do have some time, please rate and review the show. Helps other people find us, because that's something that's very hard for people to do. You can find us on The Gap, the GA Podcast. Type that in. Should definitely come up. Check us out. You can also send us questions through email, thegapodcast@gmail.com, or you can do it the new way, thegapodcast.com/Discord. You can jump in there. That'll take you to our Discord page, where people are chatting about. I'm not sure what this last couple of days have been. I can't bring it up at the moment because I'll lose you. But anyway, we've been chatting on there about certain things, so it's been fun.
Frisco got a new mouse. You got one of those mice with holes in them.
I've seen them everywhere. Like, did they send them out for reviews or something? And Frisco just
no,
happened to get one.
I don't know what it is. The people got fucking wild about them for a little while.
Yeah, the cheese grater mice.
I want to see what it's like, because I've always understood certain weights work better for mice, but apparently this thing's super fucking light.
Wouldn't you just get dead skin in there the whole time? Like, just eventually build up a dead skin
and come.
All right, fair enough. I'm not sure what you're doing with a mouse.
You're not coming on the mouse. You come on your hand and then you slap it on your mouse.
Okay, fair enough. I've never had.
Maybe it's not your cum.
Oh, okay,
maybe you jack off some dude.
Someone else's. Fair enough. Yeah. Whatever you get up to when you're at home is cool with me.
All right.
You can find us on Facebook.com/GA Podcast, Twitter.com/GA Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as well, thegearpodcast.com/YouTube. Check us out on there. Our website, thegearpodcast.com, has links to all the things we've talked about on the show just then, including past episodes. If you want to maybe listen to last week where we talked about, Modern Warfare or WWE 2K20, because that was the thing that happened.
It was.
Yeah.
They released an announcement that they were going to fix their game as well.
Yep. I guess they need to, right?
It's basically a complete teardown at this point, so I don't know what the fuck they're going to do, but it should be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's all thanks to our Patreon members who help keep the site running most of the time when Joab's not breaking it. You can go to patreon.com/GAPodcast, and if you can, throw us a couple dollars. Like, if it's going to hurt you anyway, don't do it. But we thank everybody that does that every month. Greatly appreciate it. Helps us run the site. Except for when Joab is putting up giant reviews where he's shitting on games and then it just crashes the site constantly.
That's what I do.
Yeah, that's why the site crashes, because of your Detroit review. That's
true. Everyone's still going back and checking it out.
I see what's going on here. You're a Xbox fanboy. Detroit.
there is a pattern, eh?
Heavy Rain. You didn't write Spider-Man. No, I did Spider-Man on the website. So.
Yeah, true.
All right, and that is it. Have you got anything you want to pimp out for this week that you've been writing about?
Go to player2.net and check out my review of Death Stranding. And head to redbull.com to check out, I did an interview with Mash and Babip from two pro League of Legends players about the map changes. How the map is changing for 2020 in League of Legends. And finally, if you're in Sydney this weekend and you want to check out some PUBG action, come on down to the Carriage Works for the Red Bull Fight or Flight PUBG finals. Should be pretty entertaining.
Nice.
Or you can watch it on Twitch. I think I might appear on stream at some point. I have no idea. They told me I was going to have to be on stream.
They talk about Death Stranding for half an hour on stream.
Fuck yeah, I've got this. I can kill some time, baby. I'll just tell the story about that chick who wanted a fucking hourglass again. Yeah, anyway. So yeah, that's that. What about you, Luke? What do you got?
You can go to Stevivor.com. I had, I think this was a couple weeks back, but I had an interview go up with the Afterparty team, Sean. So you can go check that out if you want to. They posted that on their website, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
You can also go to ozgamers.com, check out my Modern Warfare review over there. And Red Bull as well posted up a tips guide that I slapped together. So you can go check that out. How to be successful in multiplayer.
I went in and made all the links point to my stuff.
Yeah. Well, I put it in there already, so it should have been.
Yeah, no, I put more links to my stuff.
Right, yeah, because I put in there how, like, you should use camping to your advantage. Maybe I'm the problem. Maybe it was because of me. Everyone was like, how can I get good at Modern Warfare? And I was like, this guy knows he's talking about. I'm going to camp everywhere.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
It's all coming together.
Yeah. So yeah, you can go check that out. Otherwise, I got some stuff coming up next week, but I can't talk about it. And yeah, BlizzCon. I'm going to BlizzCon tomorrow. Well, I'll be at BlizzCon by the time this comes out, so it should be exciting.
What are you going to buy me when it's not Overwatch 2? You got to buy me something from the fucking show.
Have you seen all the leaked stuff that's come out? We talked about it a bit last week, but more stuff has come out, like assets and like internal images and like logos.
I didn't see any internals yet. I saw some assets, but I didn't see any internal.
Yeah, they look like they're internal images. So yeah, Overwatch 2, they're calling it. They talked about how there's like a PvE element in there.
That's what I said would be there. But anyway, go on.
Yeah. I don't know, man. If this leak stuff is true, it's going to be interesting because it's like you said, it sounds more like Season 2 as opposed to Overwatch 2. So I think the branding on this one is going to be very important.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if it's like, it's a $60 game. If it turns out to be not a $60 game and it's a free-to-play game, then all right, now this is something different. But
Sure.
we'll have to wait and see. I guess the other big one is obviously Diablo. Whatever was going on with that, sounds like it's 4. So we'll
So what I'm getting is you're walking back your Overwatch 2 prediction, and you're not going to buy me anything.
No, I still think it's Overwatch 2, judging by what everyone's saying, the leaks.
So what are you going to buy me when you're wrong?
What do you think it is?
Overwatch Season 2 or Chapter 2?
Chapter 2. All right, we'll see.
You're locked in on 2. You're locked in on nothing. Overwatch 2. That's you. That's what you made fun of me last week when I said it wasn't that.
All right, I will get you some sweet Blizzard gear.
That's what I want. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, you can pick anything on the shelf behind you.
I want a Diablo mobile phone.
Oh, okay. That's
Diablo brand mobile phone.
What do I get?
What?
When I'm right.
It doesn't matter. Why account for circumstances that will never arise? Okay. I will give you anything on not that shelf. Fuck, that's the whiskey shelf.
Green screen. Send me a green screen.
You can have my green screen. Okay, fine.
How about that painting on the wall? What is that? Oh, no, that's not a painting. It's your drink shelf.
Yeah, that's the whiskey shelf. Yeah.
Yep.
And the Jesus picture's in there as well.
Oh,
just behind my head.
I don't want that back.
Can't have the Jesus picture.
You're grain attached to it.
I have.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, should be fun. I guess we'll have a lot of things to talk about next week. So
we will. Awesome.
All right. Thanks everyone for listening. Catch you all next week.